Water.
Excuse me while he whips this out.
He has to pass a little water, I think he said. So okay, but yeah, so I've gotten character sheets from a couple of you, but not all of you. So if let's just start with that. Let's start punching up who we have and what we got. And we can start for those of you who haven't sent me a character sheet yet. If you guys want to work on yours real quick, and we'll start with Andrew. I have Andrew's character sheet and Dan's character sheet. Yeah, I remembered your name.
Eventually.
It took me a minute. It's okay. And then we can jump to you guys too. So does that sound like a good initial plan?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So let me go ahead and Dan, let me get yours up because Andrew's
back if you want to do him first.
Oh, Andrew's back. Okay, great. So Andrew, we're gonna give everybody's character sheets knocked out, and so we're gonna finalize yours. Let's do Dr. Wagner first.
All right.
And let me just kind of pop off of here and pop into all right, can you guys see
Bless you. Yes,
can
I
you
see
see Dr. Wagner, Milagrosa Wagner, an intelligent adept who fuses mind and machine? Can you see that?
Yours looks different than mine.
No.
Does it?
I've got the Excel spreadsheet you sent me last time we worked on this.
Oh, do we?
You've got this fancy one.
Hold on. Excel spreadsheet. Okay, I think maybe this is it. Hold on a second. Are you looking at this? I don't know if you can even see this. Hold on a second. Is that the thing you're looking at, Andrew? Can you see that?
You're still showing the same thing.
Same thing. All right, hold on a sec. Let's do screen 1 where we want screen 3. There we go. Screen 3. All right. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So this is an old school traveler character sheet. So we're not going to use this anymore. Now, last time we did this, and I believe that you had sent me a lot of this. We had worked on some of this stuff.
Did it in a Zoom meeting. So
okay.
I would have to figure out how to transpose all that.
Okay. Well, I could send you this. It's a form fillable kind of thing.
Okay.
Why don't I go ahead and do that, right?
Yeah, that's the one you sent us today, that fillable form, right?
Why don't you just fill it out? We'll fill it out
and then you can
send it to me.
Don't look at that. Don't look at that.
I see nothing.
I didn't see anything.
Bunch of liars.
Outlawed 30 systems.
Okay.
Is that one of the ones you sent earlier?
Yeah, but I sent blank ones over. And there are other ones. If you don't like this one, you can.
I'm not that particular.
Okay.
But very peculiar. Note the difference.
Okay, so I'm ready. I'm ready when you are to. Oh, sorry, not just me, but so is it? So I got to figure out how to put descriptors and type now, right? Which I think you mentioned the original. I read the original cipher front to back, but that was 2 minutes ago when you said it.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So the first thing you have to do is you have to determine what. So rather than classes per se, what we have here is descriptor, type, and focus. It's essentially I am a adjective, noun, who verbs, right? So and all those. It's kind of like Mad Libs a little bit, but basically, you determine, sort of what kind of character you are based on those 3 sort of qualities, right? So in this case, with Dr. Wagner, he's an intelligent. His adjective is descriptor is intelligent, adept, who fuses mind and machine, and all of those have different kinds of definitions, right? So I'm going to go to the to the book here. Hold on a second. All right, there's skills. Hold on a second. So all of these things are listed in the book, but there are a variety. Let me see if I could find. I was using one. Hold on a second. That's the character generator. Here's the reference guide. Okay. All right. So creating your character type. So flavor, descriptor, focus, abilities, that kind of stuff. So what we're going to look at is types of characters. So this is the, if we go back to, and you guys can see the system cipher system reference. Are you looking at that now? Okay. All right. So I've got that screen live. I'm going to switch back and forth from a couple of things. So we're looking at type right now. So we haven't got to descriptors yet or focus. We're looking at type. And there are a few different types of character. Warriors, adepts, explorers, speakers are primarily the 4 types of characters. Warriors are exactly what you think they are.
Can you chat this URL to us, please?
Absolutely.
I thought so.
I'm gonna chat you several URLs tonight.
Oh, Jesus.
It's gonna be a lot. I don't care who sees them. All right, here's the one we're looking at right now.
TikToks that you're going to check on us like homework. Did you watch my TikTok?
We're going to do more TikToks. I'm also going to send you this. I think this is an interesting kind of thing, and I use it for NPCs and stuff like that, but it is a character generator. Yeah, okay. Okay. And I was doing some notable NPCs, but I'll send you this too. This is kind of fun because it auto generates characters, which is perfectly fine. If you want to do that, you can do these kind of like, here, let me reset this a little bit. All right, so you can see character names, which you can do randomly. You can select a variety of different genres. So I've been doing far future and near future for NPCs for this. You can just, you can do sex here. And then you can either select a couple of things or overwrite with an archetype and basically say, all right, well, I'm looking to be a far future pirate smuggler. All right. Then you click this and it gives you everything. So you're a stealthy warrior who fights dirty. And it gives you all the abilities right in a line, and it gives you some cash and credits and things like that if you want to start from here. All your skills, your tier, which is analogous to your level, armor and ciphers we're not going to do in that way. But this is if you guys don't want to go through the sort of headache of making one, you can use this thing to sort of set it up.
So if we go back to the character descriptors, like just as the description alone of speaker sounds kind of like my fast talk Slip and Jimmy rule.
Yeah. So for you, let's go down to speaker. So speaker in this kind of thing, yeah, you're exactly right. A diplomat, a charmer, a manipulator, a console legate. So yeah. So for somebody like Weber Jix, speaker would probably be the primary kind of thing.
That's type or descriptor?
That is type.
Okay, so I need a descriptor first. Okay, so a type speaker. That's not drop down on the character sheet. Just type it in. It looks like, right?
Yeah, you can just type it in. It's just form fillable. It's not a drop down.
Got it. Okay.
So one of the things that I like about this is if you say, all right, I'm a male far future character with a random name, and you have your type, you can put in, technology speaker, stealth speaker, or just regular speaker. You can put in there, and you can still run the thing. You say, all right, well, I'm not really a thing. I'm more of a diplomat. You can run to create the character, and it'll fill out everything else.
Okay.
Right. So in this case, you're an empathic speaker who leads. And from this one. Now, if you don't like this one, you're like, this is a stupid character. I don't want to do this. You just go back, create a different one, and it'll just randomize it. So in this case, you are a empathic speaker who leads. That's great. It's really random.
What about a cynical speaker who drinks?
You could be that. But yeah, so if you go back here, you could, so with the speaker role, you could do that. And then what you would then look for here, hold on, let me go ahead and pop this in so we can refer back. All right, so you've decided on speaker. And so what you'll do is you go back to this and let's say, all right, now I got to look at my descriptors. So we go into descriptors, and here are your descriptors. And here's the list: appealing, beneficent, brash, calm, chaotic, charming, clever, clumsy, craven, creative, cruel, dishonorable, doomed, empathic, exiled, fast, foolish, graceful, guarded, hardy, hideous, honorable, impulsive, inquisitive, intelligent, intuitive, blah, 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 blah. These are all the adjective parts. So you're a speaker, but the adjective part is, well, what kind of speaker are you? Are you an intelligent speaker? Are you a perceptive speaker? Are you a risk taker? Skeptical? It depends, right? So you would want to go through some of these and see, okay, so appealing, you're attractive to others. You get different benefits, skills, resistances, that kind of stuff based on your descriptor. So if you are the jovial kind of person, cheerful, friendly, and outgoing, you put people at ease with a big smile. You get +2 to your intellect pool for being witty. You get you are trained in all tasks related to pleasant social interaction. You have an advantage in figuring out the punchlines of jokes you've never heard before. So you are trained in all tasks related to solving puzzles and riddles. So that these kind of things would just give you the ability to sort of, it's another way of describing your character.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right. So what are you leaning towards here amongst all these? I'm thinking rugged or
Rugged.
tongue-tied.
Neither of those. I was thinking rash maybe, or clever. Charming.
Okay.
I think I'm a smooth talker a lot of time, and I think Weber Jix has kept us from at least a few gunfights.
Smooth talker and a charmer. Personable. Social interaction, influencing the minds of others.
I think clever because I think well on my feet. Influencing, yeah. Clumsy, no. Craven,
Clever.
no. Creative,
So clever involves lies and trickery,
well,
resisting mental effects,
yeah,
identifying and assessing danger, importance, function, or power. Any task involving knowledge or understanding is hindered, which means you have a minus on that.
yeah, we got people for that. Hey, where's Don, by the way?
Don is at his daughter's birthday party. He's going to try and jump in later, but we will see.
I just figured he went invisible.
Yeah, he's doing that. All right. So then once you have a descriptor that you like, and all of these things, you have different benefits, right? So if we go back to here and we say, all right, we want a speaker and we're going with clever and a far future diplomat liaison, we create that. You can see that it's not picking it up. Why wouldn't it do that? So did I fuck that up? No, I don't know why I didn't. It's weird. But you get different abilities based on these things that you choose. So the next thing that you want is your focus. And focuses are interesting in that they tend to be they're much more complex than they initially leave on. So this is the list of focuses. And they're sort of and there are other lists of foci that works up and that kind of thing. So if you go and do a little scanning around on the internet, we'll keep character options open for a while as we get started. So as we sort of wrap our heads around this play style, but foci are like different. So you have one: abides in stone, descends from nobility, interprets the law, these kind of things. And they have this kind of thing. So if we say calculates, so you calculate the incalculable. Okay, what happens here? You have awesome mathematical ability that allows you to model the world in real time, giving you an edge over people. At tier 1, at level 1, you have predictive equation. Which is you can observe or study a creature for at least around an hour, and the next time you interact with it, a related task is eased. Means you get a bonus on any task if you study a creature. The other one was nope. Hold on a second. What was the other one? Oh, I think it was in this one. Hold on. The other one, higher mathematics. So at first level, you are trained in standard higher mathematics. That allows when there are tasks or challenges or something that revolve around or interact some way with math, you have a bonus on that. You have the ability to have a bonus when trying to accomplish that skill. But that's this one. So if we look at a different one, they're going to have very different kinds of
He's idolized by millions. That sounds right, guys, right?
Certainly locally. Let's see, what would be
Sail beneath the Jolly Roger. That sounds a little more right.
sails beneath the Jolly Roger. All right, let's take a look at that. You sail with a crew of dread pirates. That sounds about right. Tier 1 benefits are ignore the pain. You ignore impaired conditions, which is a condition that accrues during combat, and treat the debilitated condition as impaired. So you can fight your way through wounds. In your other tier 1 ability is sailor, which is basically probably as you are trained in tasks related to sailing and trained in the geography of islands and coastlines. For our purposes here, you would be, in this case, trained in the ways of astrography and piloting a ship.
Which is kind of that's Tamm's shtick if he's staying with Tamm. So
Yep.
Solves mysteries sounds about more right, but I'll have to read through these real quick. But if I take solved mysteries, I'm gonna have to add jinkies to my vocabulary.
Well, then be careful how you portray Velma, because otherwise the world will hate you.
Yes.
I don't know what happened there, but something went sideways on the Velma show because the internet is full of people very irritated by it.
I guess just sometimes I'm like, where most of us I think are over the age of 50 in this call, and I'm like, the things that you're worried about, they're not for you. That's for another generation below you to worry about. You guys just do you. You don't need to have an opinion on, hard opinions on Justin Bieber are not allowed at our age group anymore. I think that's a good thing to live by.
I haven't heard about Justin Bieber in a long time. Hey,
And
by
it
the
feels
way,
nice, right?
I think my homemade mead is turning into homemade mead champagne.
Nice.
Look at can you see the bubbles?
That
Well,
may not be
they
a
always
good thing.
bubble when they ferment.
Put a little
Oh, it's not. That's
put a little absinthe on there, Les, so you can get a little death in the afternoon.
A little death in the afternoon. No, I gotta get up tomorrow. I gotta go into the office tomorrow. So that means I gotta get up extra early so I can drive my wife to work because we only have one car. Andrew and I were talking about this earlier.
But what you were missing on Velma Les was that the show's creators told everybody she's gay.
Oh,
That
what's her
she's a
name?
lesbian, and that's what
Oh, that
everybody
she
blew
changed.
up.
She made Velma gay.
And
Didn't everybody since like 1966 figure that
Right?
out? That,
But
Yeah.
once they came out and officially said it, it made everybody in.
dear Lord. Next
I
thing
always
find
so
out
for a
that
long time
Great
I always
Dane's only
thought
lived 10
Velma
years,
and
how is this Great Dane still alive after 50 years?
I always
Mhm.
thought Velma and Shaggy had a kind of a thing going, but I guess that's wrong.
I always thought Shaggy and Scooby had kind of a thing going on, but nobody wants to talk about that.
They definitely did.
Ew. All right, so that's kind of how so based on these three things, you can basically create a character that matches you from the point of view of your class, your sort of personality kind of thing, and your abilities. Right. And in some cases it's abilities, in some cases it's history, that kind of stuff. Those three things sort of all form together to form a complete character. So let's look at Dr. Wagner and sort of just go through his. So he is an intelligent adept who fuses mind and machine. So let's look at what that means. So adept, let's go up to the top here rather than scroll. So adepts are, in this case, telepath, seekers, masters, sorcerers, practitioners. A doctor fits right in here. So as an adept, he means he's adept at doing things, and in this case he's individual role, usually thoughtful, intelligent. I think that's Dr. Wagner to a T. Thoughtful, intelligent, cautious
Kind,
about
caring.
certain, kind, caring, but for Dr. Wagner being a highly intelligent, highly decorated space doctor, adept is the way to go. So then he chose as his descriptor to be intelligent. So he's doubling down on sort of the intelligence kind of ideal. And so let's just go down there. And, how do I
I
spell
like this one folk guy, just murders. And nothing else, no qualifier words. Just straight up murders.
All right. So in this case, he picked intelligent. You're quite smart. Your memory's sharp. You easily grasp contests. Smart. +2 to your intellect pool. Now, remember, we don't have the strength, intelligence, dex, wisdom, charisma, constitution like D&D or the other ones like we had in Traveler. We only have three ability scores: might, speed, and intellect. It's basically like might is dealing with everything sort of muscular, physical. Speed Self-explanatory. It's how fast you move, how dexterous you are. Intellect, the life of the mind, right? So those, out of those three things, you have essentially your thing. In this case, you have pools and edges. So pool is sort of like what analogous to your base score, right? So when you are confronted with a task, you use your pool to try and modify the die roll, right? So if you are if Dr. Wagner comes up against an injured person, right, and I as the DM say this injured person has a difficulty check, he's grievously injured, he's got several bullets and laser wounds on her, part of his kidney has fallen out, it looks like all of his bones have also been extracted. So this is a difficulty 40 task to stabilize this guy. So, all right, so Wagner goes, all right, I've got a roll of 40, and in this case, we don't use 2d6, we use d20 on this. So he's got a d20 roll. He's like, I got a roll of 40. So in this case, if I use all of my intellect pool, you use your intellect pool to sort of reduce the number, right? So the number's 40. He says, well, I have 24 in my intellect pool. Okay, that reduces the number down to 16, which means he's got to roll a 16 or better to stabilize this guy. He's also got in intellect, you can see he's got one edge, which is sort of a floating point that he can use or not use. If you burn edge, it takes time to get it back. So it's sort of like, pushing the distance, right? If you have edge, for example, in speed and you're in a race and the guy you're racing against is neck and neck, you can use your edge thing to punch that number one more ahead and sort of get ahead and win the race. But in this case, he's like, well, 16 is tough, so I'm going to use my edge in this case to help stabilize this guy. He's an important NPC. We don't want to kill him like we have all the other NPCs, and I'm going to use that. So that reduces the number down to 15. He rolls a d20, he rolls a 16, and he's like, yes, I stabilize the guy. The edge point goes away, and his intellect score is effectively 24 until he can recapture that edge point, usually by rest or what have you. And he's successfully negotiated that challenge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 So in certain cases you will have, so in this case for that kind of stuff, you have skills, right? So he is skilled in medicine, hold on, it just scooched. There we go. So that you have, so you have different kinds of things. You can see power shift, trained, specialized, or inability. In this case, Dr. Wagner, as a doctor, has a lot of, so what we did was when we worked on this, we tried to take his character from Traveler, which had various skills, and try to equate those and rebuild those things here. I don't necessarily, except for Eric, I don't want you to necessarily have new characters that are all brand new and have different stuff. I'm sort of looking at this as trying to rebuild your original characters in Cypher System. And in this case, he's obviously specialized in medicine, which gives him bonuses. Anatomy, he's trained in anatomy and chemistry, in perception, in computer, in deception, in seeing through deception, because he likes to lie a lot. Identification, identifying things. He's a diagnostician. All of these things are now trained skills because he's at level 1. These will improve over time as you accrue points and spend those points on different skills and stuff like that. You do get tiers, which are sort of like levels, but you also get you get basically points, and you can spend those points in ways that improve your character in ways you see fit, right? So here's the advancement track. So you get the ability to choose. When you go to tier 2, you can choose to increase your abilities, you can increase your edge, you can increase your efforts, you can train a skill or improve a skill, you can do other things. So you get points for leveling up, and you can spend those points in different ways to improve your characters in ways that are customized to you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So he's an intelligent adept. So he's an adept, he's a doctor, he's doubled down on intelligence, and he's used it in such a way that his intellect score is way better than most. I mean, 7 and 9, most of these scores are usually in the 8 to 11 range, but he has really gone berserk, which reflects a lot of what Dr. Wagner has exhibited in the past, right? Which is that he's this very intelligent doctor who can do almost anything with a scalpel and a shot of ketamine, but he has this dark and notorious past that he doesn't talk about, but has sometimes come out. Like the time he mounted he removed a targeting a
Eyeball.
targeting camera from a woman's face and implanted it on the back of his head. Just a little, sometimes we get these little tastes of the possible reasons why Dr. Wagner might be the ship's doctor on a 200-ton cargo ship, as opposed to head of the department at Mass General on Terra.
Uh-huh.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right. So let's look then at, he has chosen focus. His focus choice is Fuse's mind and machine. And this was an interesting choice for him, and one that he and I talked about. Fuse's mind and machine. So in this case, electronic aids planted in his brain make you a mental powerhouse. Okay, so there's that. Enhanced intellect. Remember, he doubled down on enhanced intellect. 3 additional points to your intellect pool. So he maximized that. In this case, his knowledge skills. You get 2 other skills that you're not already trained. You 2 areas of knowledge, such as history, geography, archaeology, and so on. You can select this multiple times. Each time you select it, you select 2 different skills. So so basically he maximized in such a way that it made sense for him to, as a doctor, these made sense to him, and that's how he got to this area. Does that kind of make sense from a point of view of Dr. Wagner, how that looks? So
Some of these
then,
guys that don't seem to be appropriate for a science fiction setting. Unless we're
well, no, but because the cipher system is sort of designed to be universal, it's a little like GURPS in that regard. But what we do as players and DMs is we say, all right, we're going to use this particular power in this way because that makes sense for our setting, right? So if it says, well, he's a powerful wizard, well, he's not a powerful wizard, but he's a powerful doctor, which is a lot like wizardry. I heard somebody once say being really, really good at Excel is the best, is the closest thing to being an actual wizard in modern times as exists. For Dr. Wagner, it's not Excel, it's the fact that he can perform magic with a wounded person, a person who needs surgery, a person who requires medical attention. That in that way, he's a wizard. Does that make sense?
Or a cleric.
Or cleric. Well, we keep it in the sort of the terms of the milieu that we're operating in. So in this case, lastly, what we did was he chose skills and intelligence flavor, type, flavor, or others. So they have flavor. And so he chose skills and knowledge flavor. So what happens there? Well, you get some first tier skills and knowledge abilities, interaction skills, which you can take. The following skills you already tried. So you get to select a couple of these. And the way this works is flavors are special abilities that GM and players can use to alter the type to make it more to their liking. So it's essentially a modification of adept in this case. So you can try it. In a science fiction setting, a warrior might have a knowledge of machinery, so his character could be flavored with the technology flavor, right? Does that make sense? So in this case, he is doing adept, and he's modifying and he's flavoring it with skills and knowledge. A warrior, so here we go. So first tier skills and knowledge ability. So he gets an interaction skill. You're trained in 2 skills for you're not already trained. They must be deceiving, persuading, public speaking, seeing through deception, or intimidation. In this case, you'll remember he chose deceiving and seeing through deception as his interaction skills. Then he went to investigative skills. All right. You're trained in 2 skills that you're not already trained. In this case, he chose perception and identifying. Okay. As a diagnostician, that makes sense. He also gets knowledge skills. So in this case, history, geography, archaeology. I believe that he opted out of that one or selected history, but one of those 2. He felt it didn't make sense. Physical skills. Balancing, running, jump. In this case, wait, it was right. You only get to pick 2 of these that you use for flavor. You don't get everything. I have to read up on that. So at a given tier, Oh yeah, okay. So abilities are flavored so that you trade 1-for-1 with standard abilities. So in the case that he's talking about as an adept, his role. Hold on a second. Backgrounds. First year adept. All right. He replaced some of these abilities with those flavor abilities for at least 2 of them, and that's how he managed to make this work. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I was looking
Cool.
at flavors right now. I think flavors help me make Weber Jukes more like he was. Because I can do like several of the like speaking type stuff.
Right. Okay. So that's Dr. Wagner, and he has some special abilities. You attempt to erase memories, but he can do these sort of things by spending intellect, right? So in this case, erase memories, you can attempt to drug a creature within intermediate range and make an intellect roll. On a success, you erase up to the last 5 minutes of their memory. So that's an interesting power that Dr. Wagner has, and lines right up with the Dr. Wagner special.
I would like to see how you translate mutated tiger penis into this paper system.
But he has a couple of special abilities that he can do right away. So in this case, we didn't talk about ciphers or anything like that. And ciphers are, for the purpose of the cipher system, are sort of like, they envision it as being sort of one-shot magic items. What I'd like to do is we're going to skip that for right now and go to like things like equipment, because you do bring a fair amount of equipment into the thing. Some of you have armor. Dr. Wagner, I know, has a gun that he got from Seventide that is a high energy cold gun. It shoots I want to say some sort of super chilled plasma. Is that right, Andrew?
Yep.
Okay.
It's my Snoopy snow cone machine.
The Snoopy snow cone machine.
Chill.
Yep. So I mean, so that's the kind of thing that you would you put in here. Any background, your character portrait, that kind of stuff. Those are all easy peasy. But that's how we essentially built Dr. Wagner's character so that it best reflected what the original Traveler Dr. Wagner was like. Okay. So let's take a look at your new captain, Jet Gray, who in this case is a mechanical warrior who fuses flesh and steel with a technology flavor. All right, so let's check that out. So he is a warrior, which we looked at before. So
Wait, do we get to change our names?
I wouldn't think so. I think Dan's just using this as a draft version.
I said he was like Gandalf the White became Gandalf the Gray, Jet the Black became Jet the Gray.
All right, so he is a mechanical warrior. So a warrior obviously is, sort of in this case, he's a trooper or a soldier. He is the captain of a ship. He's a former military man, so warrior is a appropriate choice for him. In this case, he chose mechanical as his descriptor. So sorry, I forgot the word there. So you have a special talent with machines of all kinds and adept at understanding, if need be, repairing them. You get called a tech, that kind of stuff. So you get +2 to your intellect pool. You're trained in actions involving understanding machines. You can repair them. You start with tools, that kind of thing. So that is as the captain of the ship, and to a large extent, the primary what's the word I'm looking? The guy, Scotty, the primary engineer of the ship.
I'm Scotty, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he's not only the captain, but he's Captain Scotty. So he can also work on the ship. It's his ship. So mechanical's a good choice. Then he chose, and let's see here. He chose fuses flesh and steel. So I'm very curious about this. So fuses it. Here we go. Fuses flesh and steel. Your body is part machine. So in this case, he has enhanced body, which your machine grants you +1 armor, some to might, and +3 to your speed pool. That is in relationship to some of the cybernetic parts that he has. In this case, it won't be universal. Obviously the might pool and the speed pool will give him benefits, for example, when he's punching somebody, because he's got a cybernetic arm that's attacking, and it's armored, but it wouldn't necessarily provide him those same benefits to other parts of his body, because that's the only part of his body that's cybernetic. He's not a full cybernetic organism. It says here, traditional healing skills, medicines, and techniques only work half as well for you. That also would include primarily be focused on his arm. Correct. The only cybernetic part you have is your arm, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there's some health things that would accrue to that. What else does
the
he
first
have?
5 points of damage I take from anything happens to the arm instead of me, but instead of healing, it has to be repaired. Hence the fact that I took mechanical, because I can repair myself.
You can repair yourself. And that's the only tier 1 ability that he has in this case. So he doesn't get interface or anything until tier 2. And so there you have, that's his thing. So his skills are identifying and understanding machines, using, repairing, and crafting machines. A spaceship is a machine. This makes sense. I believe you're trained in both, correct?
Yes.
So you would have the check mark in the trained area there that gives you bonuses when you are confronted with challenges of that type. Special abilities. Now, in this case, his special abilities come from, we didn't look at focus. So he had or flavor. He has a technology flavor, which allows him to, let's go ahead and take a look there. Technology flavor. So first here, it allows him to do data jacking, hacker, machine interface, scramble things. So in this case, he would have to sacrifice one of his abilities to get this flavor. Did you do that?
Yes, I took, well, the one you have, machine interface and scramble machine are both in there.
Okay.
But I changed my mind and I got rid of machine interface, I think. No, got rid of scramble machine and put in practiced with armor from the warrior side.
Okay, where did you look?
I haven't sent it to you yet. It's right.
Oh, no, it's here in special abilities. Okay. You haven't sent me. So you were leaning towards scramble machine then.
Now I kept machine interface.
Oh, you kept machine interface. Okay.
But got rid of scramble machine and
Gotcha.
took practiced with armor instead.
Gotcha. All right. Machine interface, for 1 minute, you gain an asset on task to discern the level, function, and activation of tech devices that you touch. Okay, that's good. You can your arm can interface with other machines. And the other one was, which one was the armor one?
That's back under warrior.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you didn't sacrifice that particular.
Right.
Right. You only get benefits pack. Okay,
I only
cool.
took one technology one so far at this tier.
Right. Gotcha. Okay, cool. So when you look back at his special abilities, he has a minor effect, +1 on repeated tasks. If it's something you've done before, you get a bonus. Major effect, you can deliver electrical damage if your second attack succeeds. You get +1 to your armor bonus. First 5 points we talked about. Machine interface, if you apply 2 intellect to decrease difficulty by 1 for 1 minute, that means you can do intellect checks. You can do that. And then Overwatch, you can use a ranged weapon to cover an area with a weight action, but with no benefit for the target and +1 damage. Okay, so yeah, so these are the special abilities he's got, and I would have to agree, these largely conform to what we know of Captain Black, right? He's part cybernetic. He has some abilities there. Look at his scores, his might, speed, and intellect compared to what we saw with Dr. Wagner. Dr. Wagner very specifically went all in on intellect, whereas in this case, you've got a much more sort of balanced area. And in this case, because he's a warrior, he has edge in both speed and might, which allows him to sort of burn those points in service of, getting himself an extra bonus for a particularly challenging task, or, to get an edge on something.
But not on an intellectual task.
But not on intellectual. Yeah, for an intellectual task, you would have to burn actual intellect points to get that bonus, to get a bonus. So you can burn pool points too, but they are harder to come by. And if you burn them, I mean, it's sort of like burning the candle at both ends, right? Edge comes back, but pool could be problematic. If you burn all your intellect points, suddenly you don't have any.
You're really tired and can't.
You're really tired, but also keep in mind that this is a fluid environment, and your hit points are essentially the sum total of your might, speed, and intellect. And different things happen when you take down things. So the way that this works is when you're in combat, and hopefully we'll get to a point tonight where we can do a little combat test, because combat is very different in Cypher System than it would be elsewhere. But might is burned first when you are hit by weapons, and then you lose speed. And what happens when you do that is you become impaired. The damage track, you become impaired, debilitated, and then dead, based on how many of those points are left. So say you get hit by a shotgun, it does 15 points, and all of it 15 points of that gets through your armor. Your might is gone, and you are down to 11 speed, and you are impaired, which means everything is much more difficult. It's a sort of, you get into those things where you're starting to swirl around the bowl. It's not like you're in full health until you have 0 hit points, and then you're completely dead. It's this sort of track that kind of goes down. I feel like it is realistic. If you get hit again by the shotgun, so second shotgun blast takes out all your speed and you're down to intellect only, you're essentially debilitated, can move only an immediate distance. You can only move a little bit. If your speed pool is 0, you can't move at all. And then when you get hit by that third shotgun blast, which I've prepared, you're completely dead. Okay.
All right.
All right, so that's Captain Black and Dr. Wagner. Any questions on those? All right, so let's talk Eric. All right, Eric.
All right.
Eric and I spoke very briefly about what he wants his new character to be, but I will turn it over to him, and what we'll do is we'll try and figure it out collectively. Does that sound like a plan?
Thank you. Yes, sure, please. Essentially, I really liked Coffin, so I have dreamed up a character quite similar to Coffin. I started Coffin as a traveler novice, not really knowing what to do. I now start this new character as a Cypher novice, not really knowing what to do. Mallory Graves.
That's him.
Mallory Graves was a captain, much like who served alongside Coffin in the mobile infantry. He retired from the mobile infantry at age 42. He served from age 23 till age 42. He is now age 43. He went to 4-year college before joining the service. He has a degree in computer science. So and he's good with computers. He was an officer in the mobile infantry. He was with Coffin Doyle on that hellhole Planet P and ugly planet, a bug planet. So he's good with weapons, from sidearms and rifles to mounted weapons, including small and large artillery pieces.
Okay.
And so guns and computers are what he does. But his job title, much like Coffin, I got Mallory Graves is a stressed out housekeeper who cleans house.
Okay.
And runs a tight ship.
All right. So I mean, I think there's a lot of material there, and I think this is excellent stuff. So based on just what you've said, we have a picture of Staff Sergeant Graves, who's old friend of Coffin Doyle, and probably wants revenge for the ill treatment that Mr. Doyle has had at the hands of the Terran Interstellar Legal Authority. So let's talk about what Coffin Doyle would be, or I'm sorry, what Mr. Graves would be from the point of view of a character. So obviously, the last couple of sentences out of your mouth, he's good with guns,
Yeah.
and he likes to clean house. So that leads me to believe that he is a warrior, but it's possible he could be an explorer as well. It doesn't, these lines aren't bright. So in this case, wanderer, planetary specialist, xenobiologist, adventurer, a person of action and physical ability. You face the unknown. You travel to strange and exotic places. Which one? So I would ask you, which one of these do you feel matches Mallory Graves?
Let me hang on here. I gotta. Did you send that URL to me
It's in the chat.
in the Zoom chat?
Yeah.
Or the Roll20 chat?
The Zoom chat, but I'll put it in the Roll20 chat too.
Here, hold on. Let me just go to the. Here's chat. Thank you. Got it. How about that? Les, may I share my screen?
Sure. Hold on a second. Let me kill this, and then let me make it so multiple people can share. All right, my good man, by all means.
I'm thinking warrior, science fiction, security.
I think that makes sense. I mean, he's an ex-soldier. I think he's good with guns. He's going to be stepping into the role of Coffin Doyle, who was primarily, security chief on the Gin and Tonic. He was their primary heavy.
Yeah. So let me share my screen here. This screen. Which screen do I share? That one. Thank you. All right, share. Boom. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Great. Mallory Graves is a stressed out housekeeper. Should I?
So in this case, we have to sort of like conform it to the list of descriptors and stuff that we have in the thing. So,
Okay.
So in this case, the type would be warrior.
Warrior. Okay.
And then from a descriptors, you're talking about stressed out. He's let's see. He could, so that stress could result in a couple of different ways, right? So he could be brash, he could be impulsive, he could be strong-willed, or vicious. All of those are options among the descriptors.
Jumpy and anxious.
Let me see. What would I think? Probably for something like that. Chaotic as a descriptor. Danger doesn't mean much to you, mainly because you don't think much about the repercussions. In fact, you enjoy sowing surprises just to see what will happen. The more unexpected the result, the happy you are. So chaotic might fit that, a chaotic warrior.
Actually, you know what? I mean, like Coffin, Mallory Graves has PTSD. He was on Planet P. His platoon got chewed up,
Yep.
He's
Those
actually
damn bugs.
Cautious, nervous. He has he's jumpy. He's vigilant, hyper.
So he's hyper attenuated, kind of. Okay, let me see. Look what else we got here. Perceptive, sharp-eyed, vicious, swift, maybe.
Let me try to find something that might fit here.
You want me? So go up to the top because we want to look at descriptors. See where it says on the side menu, it says descriptor. Go there. Yeah, there you go. All right. So see the list of descriptors. Those are the options that you have.
Got it. Okay. Cool. How about I don't know, man. I should have done all this homework before I joined.
Maybe impulsive or rugged. Risk.
Impulsive might work. You have a hard time damping down your enthusiasm.
What's doomed?
I don't
Oh,
know.
jeez.
Click it. Doomed. You are
Quite
quite certain fate is leading you inextricably towards a terrible
That's it.
end. Well, that's all
I'm
of us,
doomed.
really.
I'm doomed. Jumpy.
All right. So you want to be doomed?
You know what? Yeah,
It's
this
every
is
Monday morning, Les. I don't like doomed.
it. This is great.
All right. So in this case, keep this window open, but go back to your character sheet
Yeah, doomed.
and type doomed in there. You're a doomed warrior. All right. So see where it says special abilities? We're going to add some things to there here
Yes,
in a
sir.
second. So go back to the SRD. All right. So jumpy, you add +2 to your speed pool.
Mhm.
All right. So your so you will so don't yeah, I guess if you want to copy that, that would work. Up to doom, but it's fine. Go ahead.
Here. That
Yes.
and paste.
There we go. All right. So +2 to your speed pool. So let's look at your ability scores here just for real quick.
Okay.
Just for things. So where are those? Oh,
Those are
warrior stat pools. All right. So you start out with 10 in might,
Okay.
10 in speed, and 8 in intellect.
Okay.
All right. In this case, being doomed gives you a +2 to your speed pool. So that goes up to 12. Yeah. So the next thing that you get is hold on, I don't have doomed up here. Hold on a second. I can't read it on your screen. It's too far away.
Sorry.
Here we go. It says always on the lookout for danger. You are trained in perception related tasks. All right. So go down. So you see where it says skills?
Yes, sir.
All right. Put perception in there and click the T.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. The next thing it says, you are defense minded. So you are also trained in speed defense tasks.
Okay.
So put that in there. Speed defense.
And T.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Next one, you are cynical and expect the worst. Thus, you are resistant to mental shock. You are trained in intellect defense tasks that have to do with losing your sanity or equanimity, which I love, getting you upset.
Mhm.
You're like, everything sucks, so
Gotcha.
I'm not going to get upset about this.
Okay. May I
All
make
right.
a note? Coffin's well, he was a gun guy. I think his strongest characteristic or trait was his pretty high in intelligence. And I was hoping to replicate that here. Is intellect of 8, does that sound like somebody who would have gone to computer science major?
Sure. I mean, a lot of the computer science people that I've dealt with in the past have moderate to average intelligence.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sometimes lower intelligence.
Gotcha.
Slam.
Gotcha.
No, but I mean, so 8 is largely, what you would be considered an average kind of intelligence. So
cool.
certainly, he certainly would be capable of certain tasks and that kind of stuff. But in this case, the way that this character is sort of lining out, that might not be his primary focus.
That's
But we can,
totally fine.
but we still have to deal with your focus, right? So
Mhm.
if you go back to the SRD.
Let me go back here. Yes. I'm gonna bookmark this too. Hang on, sorry. Oops, okay, come here. Sorry, let me just bookmark this real fast. Late night game nights. There we go. And traveler. Yeah, it's fine. All right, so I go back to here. Let me go up again. Go
Mhm.
up.
I'll go up to the side menu. Yeah, go up to the very top.
Focus.
Focus. Yep.
Okay. Focus is what makes a character unique.
All right. So if you scroll down, there'll be that list of focuses. Foci.
Gotcha.
Keep going. More.
Interesting.
More.
Ah.
List of foci. There they are. All right. So in this case, remember that they kind of are trying to make this work with a variety of scenarios, right? A variety of milieus. So it may look initially like it won't work here.
Mhm.
We'll make it work in a far future thing. So like abides in stone, we'll just go to the first one, right? Tier 1 golem body is the first thing. You get +1 armor, +1 might, and 5 additional points to your might pool. You do not need to eat, drink, or breathe. Now, this could, rather than being a golem, this could reflect a significant amount of cybernetics in your body.
Okay, sure.
Right. So
Got it.
that's how we would make that work. So don't feel like that is that the wording of it is not necessarily going to lead to things. So in this case, you've got some computers science kind of thing that you're trying to work out, but mostly you're a gun guy. So I'm looking for possibilities here.
All right.
Is license to carry might be one. Meets out justice might be another. Or master's weaponry.
Eats out justice.
Meets out justice. I don't even know justice. All right. So tier 1, your tier 1 ability here. You right wrongs, protect the innocent, and punish the guilty. So make judgment is you are trained in discerning truth of a situation, seeing through lies, or otherwise overcoming deception. All right. So that's one way. Second is designation. You assign an innocent or guilty label to one creature with immediate range based on your assessment. In other words, someone who is labeled innocent can be innocent in a certain circumstances or be generally innocent. Likewise, you can declare a creature guilty. The accuracy of your assessment isn't important as long as you believe it. Henceforth, your tasks to interact with someone you designate as innocent gain a benefit, and your attacks against those you designate as guilty gain a benefit. So you get bonuses. If you like say that is a bad guy, you get a bonus on shooting that guy.
Does he turn into Judge Dredd or what?
Kind of a little Judge Dreddy, isn't it?
Everyone is guilty.
All right. So that's eats out justice. Oh jeez, I said it. It's meets out justice. Murders is a fun one. Let's see what that does. You're an assassin by trade or inclination. Surprise attack. If you attack, you get 2 additional points of damage. Assassin skills. I don't know that that'll fit this guy. This guy seems quite honorable in certain ways that Coffin Doyle may not have been. Coffin spoons Doyle. Yeah, he had his problems.
Indeed. Mallory Graves is going to try to show a little more judgment than his comrade Coffin.
Let us all hope.
We shall see. I think I want to do is license to carry.
Okay. All right. So you have 2. So you're tier 1, which is essentially level 1. So you get 2 tier 1 powers here. So gunner, which means is very quickly you get an addition. You get +1 damage with guns. Simple as that. So copy that and put that in your special abilities. +1 damage with guns. So whenever you use a gun and you shoot somebody, you add a point of damage. Tier 1 abilities, you are practiced with guns. You have practice with guns and suffer no penalty when using one. And that's any gun. Anything that throws a piece of something from here over there, you suffer no penalty to use it.
So I'm
right there.
tier 1. Okay. Gunner, and I'm also tier 1 practiced with guns. Okay.
Yep. Which means you get no penalties when you have a gun in your hand.
Okay. Let's see. Got it. All right. Guns.
All right. So now this guy is starting to take a little shape, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Okay. All right. Good. Okay.
All right. So now we've got Mallory Graves is a doomed warrior that is who is licensed to carry.
Yes, sir.
All right. So
Tier 1?
I think we missed your edge pools. Hold on a second. Type. Hold on. What's your edge? Warriors get. You have 1 effort. So go ahead and put 1 in effort, which is another thing. So you have an edge of 1 in might and an edge of 0 in speed, or you can have an edge of 0 in speed, or 1 in speed and 0 in might. You choose whether you want to have edge in speed or edge in strength, might.
Edge and speed. So I get 1 and 0. All right.
0 in the other 2.
Got it.
So another first tier warrior. you can also be, you are also practiced with light, medium, and heavy weapons. This goes towards your artillery experience and is
Yes, sir.
going to prove well and valuable, perhaps in, I don't know, crazy. Let's just think of a crazy situation. Spaceship to spaceship combat.
Gotcha. Wait,
Agreed.
so should I write that down somewhere?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
it'll be on, if you go back to the SRD, it'll be under the warrior type.
Warrior type. Let me go back there. Warrior type.
So under type,
Type warrior. Right. And
if you scroll down a little bit,
yes, sir.
keep going. This is all like random stuff.
Sorry.
Player interest, first tier warrior. That's where we want to stop. Stop there.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. So you can see under weapons, it says you are practiced with light, medium, and heavy weapons and suffer no penalty when using any kind of weapon. So we've gone from guns to any kind of weapon. So that includes just general fisticuffs or that kind of stuff. So this is
Ladle,
interesting
spoons,
because of your focus, ladle,
cutlery.
spoons, yeah. Because of your focus of being proficient is licensed to carry, so you're proficient with guns already. You can take the opportunity to opt away from this benefit and pick one amongst the flavors. All right. The same thing goes for where it says special abilities. You can choose 4 of these special abilities that if you want to use flavor to change him up even more, you can do that. But in this case, you have to. So when you use flavor, you have to sacrifice one ability for another. You don't get just additional stuff. So you can have combat flavor. I don't even know what that is. So if you check that out, there might be some benefits there. Let's click the link in the menu. There is probably easiest. Oh, there it is. Combat flavor. All right. Danger. So at first tier, you can have danger sense, practiced in armor, practiced with medium weapons. That's really, danger sense might be interesting, but those other ones are not giving you much more than what you need. So danger sense is, what does it say? I missed it. Danger sense. What does it say?
Your initiative task is eased if you pay the cost each time the ability is used.
Okay, so there's a cost, so 1 speed point. So when we roll initiatives, you get a bonus on that if you spend a speed point.
Got it. Okay. All right.
I don't know. Looking at the ones, the other ones, the special abilities with bash, combat prowess, no need for weapons. There are some cool cool abilities there in the warrior tier itself, the type itself.
Yeah. I think so too. Okay. So sorry.
Yep. There you go.
Bash.
So
combat prowess.
bash is a pummeling melee attack. Your attack inflicts 1 less point of damage than normal, but it dazes the target for 1 round, during which time all tasks it performs are hindered, meaning it gets it gets negatives. So that's interesting if you like punching guys. Combat prowess is +1 damage to 1 type of weapon as your choice, either melee or ranged. So here, if you're talking about guns and you want to maximize your ability with guns, if you took combat prowess, and remember you can pick 4 of these. If you took combat prowess, you get +1 on damage with ranged weapons.
Gotcha.
That gives you an extra damage point. It means you're a bit of a sharpshooter.
I think that I'm gonna go with this. So
Copy that and put it in your special abilities.
Combat prowess. That's 1 thing I got. And so do I get 4 of these?
Yep.
Jeez. All right. Great. All right,
So going back, so you take combat prowess, that's 1. Then you have control the field. What is that? Melee attack inflicts. Oh wait. It's moving people around when you punch them. So you're not really a punchy guy.
No.
So we'll look at that. Improved edge. Let's I don't know what that means. Improved edge. Choose one of your edge stats that is 0 and increase it to 1. Okay, so that's interesting. So go back to your thing, your character sheet. So if you choose this improved edge, that means that you see how you have edge in speed?
Yeah.
You can put edge in might if you select that. And so you have edge points in both.
All right, cool. Done. Cool. Nice.
All right, so that's 2.
2. Yes, sir.
No need for weapons. Again, guess we can look at that. It's when you make an unarmed attack, it counts as a medium weapon instead of a light weapon. So your punches are harder.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe save that in the wings. Let's look at the other ones.
Overwatch. Use
Overwatch.
a ranged weapon to target a limited area
Mm-hmm.
and make an attack against the next viable target to enter that area. This works like a wait action, but you also negate any benefit the target would have from cover. Ooh.
Yep. So it's basically op fire. And you
so-
get another additional point of damage.
Nice. Okay, sure.
All right, so you're going to select Overwatch.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Please.
so copy that, put it in your special abilities.
Overwatch.
And you got one left.
Yes, sir.
And there are 5 left. It's practice in armor, trained without armor, swipe, quick throw, or physical skills. Physical skills is that you can pick 2 skills which you are not already trained, either balancing, climbing, jumping, running, or swimming.
I'm going to choose climbing and swimming.
Okay. You can also take practiced in armor or some of the other ones. There are a couple of different ones. You can wear armor for long periods of time.
I am going to need armor, right?
Let's see, quick throw. You can throw a weapon. That's kind of bogus. Let me look at I want to look at the last one. Swipe is a quick, agile melee attack. 1 less points, but dazes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, and then trained without armor. Hold on a sec. You are trained in speed defense tasks when not wearing. So yeah. So in this case, if you think you're going to want to wear armor, you're going to want practice in armor, which gives you can wear armor for long periods of time without tiring, and can compensate for slow reactions from wearing armor. You reduce the speed effort cost for wearing armor by 1, and you start the game with the type of armor of your choice.
Done.
All right, and there you go. You have there's your guy.
Thank you.
So you are ready to go. So you have several pluses. So in this case, you have Mallory Graves, a former military man, a doomed warrior, licensed to carry. He's proficient with guns. He has extra damage with guns. He's also proficient with armor. He knows how to wear armor. He knows how to deny using a firearm. He knows how to deny a space or go on op fire. He is fast. He's fast with a gun.
Should I type something here? It says type flavor.
No, in this case, you're not using the flavor, so you're going to leave that blank. The
Fine.
flavor is when you're sacrificing certain powers for other powers. In this case, you like the powers that you got, so we're going to keep it. Now, if the case is this, we can always, as we go through this as players, obviously there'll be times when you're saying, I wish I hadn't chose that. I would like to do that. We can do conditional respecs. We can do changes, moderate changes, that kind of stuff as we learn the system. We're kind of going into it blind. But there you go. There's Mallory Graves, character and ready to go.
Thank you. Woo.
All right.
Nice. Thank you.
All right. Next up's Matt. Last up is Matt. All right, Matt. Do you want to share your screen in the same fashion?
Here, I'll stop sharing mine so that Matt can share his. Let me just go there to Zoom. Where's my Zoom? Hello, Zoom. Sorry. Hello. Where am I? Hello.
Don't forget to save that.
Yeah, this is saved.
And send me a copy when you get a moment.
I will. Let me just.
Do I need to kick you out of this?
You might have to. I'm not.
All right, hold
on. Where's my Zoom?
It's a green button.
I got you.
Got it. Thank you.
I kicked you out.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Matt. You got your character sheet ready?
Okay. Can you see my sheet?
Mm-mm. Oh, something's coming. Oh, there we go. All right. Yes, we can. All right,
Okay,
Weber
so-
Jix. So you're saying a clever speaker who operates undercover. So you're pretty sure that's the way you want to go.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the options here, and operates undercover has some of the skills. So let's go over to.
Let's take a look at that. I think that's interesting, and I don't know that I have looked right. Operates undercover as a foci. Let me see here. I'm going on my own SVD here, trying to.
Like our endless scroll with these.
I know it's not the best.
What is it? Descriptor or what's the one I'm looking for? Descriptor.
Operates undercover. No, it's a foci is what you're looking
Foci,
for.
okay.
Focus. All right. So operates undercover. Your tier 1 ability is investigate. You're trained in perception, cryptography, deceiving, and breaking into computers.
Everything but that last one is really up my alley. So can I give up breaking into computers? Because I feel like we have better characters.
Well, in this case, I mean, yes,
some of
yeah,
the
you can do
skills
that.
like-
If you want to add flavor, you can do that.
Okay.
So you take away, so you keep, so on your character sheet, you keep
so the,
perception, cryptography, deceiving.
I forgot I'm showing you all that you're all seeing the same thing I'm seeing. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
All right, so go ahead and in your skills box, put perception, cryptography, deceiving, and
Sorry, where's my
mark those
skills box?
trained down below.
Okay,
There you
okay. Deception.
go. Deception is one, yeah. Deceiving.
I'll come back and respell this.
Yeah, that's
Cryptography.
it's really good. No, make it another. They're different. So put
Oh,
them in
sure.
different areas.
Didn't realize they were. Okay.
Yeah. So cryptography, codes and ciphers, and perception.
I think this has been an important one for Weber.
Definitely, it's an important one for everybody.
I'm less of the gun guy, more of the hey, we want to do that. Are you sure you want to go in that room?
Okay.
Not always. As it was, as that last room. If I had my brothers, I wouldn't want to be in there. Okay.
That was a fun encounter for everybody, I think.
Unless you were Terran guard.
Unless you're a TILA guard, yeah, or coffin.
What
All right,
What was the poor secretary's name that we were terrifying as we were like getting her
Brea.
boss to break? Yeah, we're getting his wheel of boss to break.
Brea Dubois.
Sorry,
But then
Brea,
she
I'll-
kind
I'll
of
send you
came over to
flowers.
your side. Captain Black charmed her.
I will send her flowers or something. Okay.
All right, so that's your
take flowers.
operates undercover ability. But let's look at your other stuff. So you selected. So you are a speaker.
Yep.
So there are certain powers and stuff that come associated with that. So your let's do your stat pools first.
Okay.
Might is 8, speed is 9, intellect 11. So go ahead and put there.
Okay,
You
got it.
also have 6 additional points to divide among those stats, however you wish.
So I do that right now.
Yes.
All right. So might is punching things.
Yeah, it's any kind of like anything that's has any sort of physical element to it. Will draw on your might.
So I just change these numbers right now and subtract.
Yeah,
this.
you can just change it.
All right. So we're gonna go to 15 here. So that's 4 of the points, right? No, that's 16.
Okay, and you have 2 more points left.
We'll do both in speed. So that's fixed at 11. Okay.
All right, cool. All right, so as a first tier speaker, your effort is 11. It's 11. It's 1. So you have 1 point of effort.
Okay.
Okay. You
I'm a
also
first
have
tier, so I put 1 in here.
yeah, your first, and you have 0 XP.
0. Okay.
All right. So it says you're as a first tier speaker, you have the following abilities: genius, which means you have an edge of 1 for intellect, but 0s for the others.
So does that mean I add 1 to the intellect?
No, you just put it in the edge box
Where's the edge box?
underneath the intellect.
Oh, edge of 1.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but for intellect, not for the others.
I got it,
0s for the others.
Yeah, I see it. The other.
All right. Weapons. You can use light weapons without penalty. And you have an inability with medium and heavy weapons. Your attacks with them are hindered, which means they are at negatives. So yeah, if you go to the SRD, if you want to copy this stuff, go to the SRD.
Which SRD?
The rule website. There you go. And go up to the top on the left for the left menu and select type.
Okay.
All right, and we're going to go to speaker. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
And there's a lot of garbage in here, but scroll down quite a bit. Keep going. There you go. Stop. Go back up. Keep going.
Speaker.
There you go. Stop. All right. So see where it says you can use light weapons without penalty under weapons?
Yeah.
Just you
I
can
just copy
copy.
all this into my-
No, copy the weapons things first because you're not going to want to copy starting equipment because you already have certain equipment. And for the point and this is for everybody for the point of this game, what equipment you have in your previous character, your traveler character, the same applies here. So there's no change. You don't have to re-pull equipment or
So
anything
those
like that.
3 nuclear weapons I disclosed to you when you were drinking that one day. You remember those, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's fine.
And my nanobot.
Tactical backpack nukes. No, I think Jin on the AI on the gin and tonic would have something to say about your backpack nukes.
It's
all right, go
actually
back.
full of whiskey, you know that. Okay.
Go back. All right, so go back to the SRD. There you go. Starting equipment, special abilities. All right, scroll down to special abilities a little bit. Choose 4 of the abilities listed below. You can't choose the same ability more than once unless it says otherwise. The full description is listed in the thing. And
interaction skills. spin identity. Maybe understanding. I mean, right off the top is one of those I was looking at.
So let's look at them. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's see what they did. So those are the ones that are.
That's fast
Let's
talk.
look at fast talk. So fast talk is when speaking with an intelligent creature who can understand you and isn't hostile, you convince that creature to take one reasonable action in the next round. Reasonable action must be agreed upon by the GM, who's going to be very real dick about this, but it should not put the creature or its allies in obvious danger or be wildly out of character.
Yep.
So is that something you want?
Yes.
Okay,
think-
so copy
I think
that.
that was that when we were dealing with the mushroom people, that was what kept us from gunfights with the dwarves.
Now wait,
Basically,
make sure you take fast talk 1 intellect point because you have to burn a point of intellect to make this work.
okay,
There's
so
a
take
cost.
this,
So take
I
the
put
whole
this under
take that whole area.
action.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay, and where do I put it? Under special abilities for now?
Yeah, just under special abilities, just pop, there you go. And you can just pop it right in there. That way you have
Okay.
it. All right. So fast talk, that's 1. It says you can get 4, right? So let's
Yep,
go
so
back.
Go back.
So just hit the backspace. There you go.
So
and
I
then-
was, either encouragement or demeanor or command was another one. Interaction skills, I think was the next one I really wanted. I thought was good. So interaction.
All right. So interaction skills. You are trained in 2 skills, which you are not already trained. Choose 2 of the following: deceiving, persuading, public speaking, seeing through deception, or intimidation. So if I recall correctly, you are already trained in deceiving, which means you cannot
Yes.
take that. So it's persuading, public speaking, seeing through deception, or intimidation.
I would say seeing through deception and deceiving or persuading. Oh no, deceiving I already have, or persuading.
All right. So what you could do is you could take persuading as a trained skill, and you can say take seeing through deception as a trained skill. So if you go back to your character sheet,
Okay.
you don't have to copy this one. We'll just put it in your skills. So go down to your skills, and sure enough, deception is one of them. So so in this case, you selected persuading and seeing through deception, and those would be trained skills for you.
And I think that fits the flavor of what
Feels right.
Objects was, yeah.
All right.
Seeing through
Make sure to go ahead and check the box under T to indicate that you are trained in this, because you can improve these skills over time.
So I'm sorry, what did you say?
Check the box under the column T where it says in the little check boxes there.
all
Yeah,
of
go ahead
these?
and for all of them. Just check all those. You're trained in all of those.
Got it. What
right,
about seeing
perfect.
through self-deception? Is that?
You're trained in it. It's because of this thing that you just took, the
Yeah,
interaction
I
skills.
think self-deception. I think we.
Oh well,
all
nobody's
of us
trained in
need-
that.
All of us need retraining in that one, as I recall from that last adventure. Okay,
Honestly, I'm an expert in self-deception, and I never fail my role when
okay.
trying to deceive myself.
So fast
um,
talk I took, we took interaction skills.
Right,
and
you have
then,
2 more you can pick.
Spin identity. Let's look at this one.
Okay. You convince all intelligent creatures who can see, hear, or understand you that you are someone or something other than what you actually are. You don't impersonate a specific individual known to the victim. Instead, you convince the victim that you are someone they do not know belonging to a certain category of peer. We're from the
feel
government.
that's-
I'm just a
yeah.
simple farmer. I'm just a simple caveman. Your world frightens and confuses me. That kind of thing.
I feel that again, Slippin' Jimmy comes through right there.
All right, we'll copy that one. Spin identity. Now this has got a bigger cost, 2 intellect points. So grab
Okay,
that whole
okay,
thing
okay,
there.
okay. And where do I put this one?
Same thing. Goes in your special abilities.
Okay, got it. So of my 15 intellect, I'd have to burn 2 of these to make that happen.
Right.
I'll come back and make these look nice and whatnot. Okay. Okay, so we go back here.
All right. And you have 1 more. Do you want to grab and copy the rest of that or no?
Oh, yeah, do you think I should? Okay, yeah.
Up to you.
Spin idea. Yeah, I probably should until I get used to this, what these all mean.
There you go. Perfect. Okay. And then you have 1 more. So go back to the SRD and let's find your final special ability.
My forever skill. All right.
You have 3 out of 4. Spin identity, understanding. What does that do?
Yeah.
We'll look at understanding, and then we'll look at encouragement. You observe or study a creature. Your next interaction with the creature gains 1 asset. So yeah, it's an action. You burn an intellect point, but basically you understand a person and you get a bonus with your interaction on them next round.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like for a lot of our cargo interactions, I've been the point person. I'm making those deals, and this doesn't feel exactly like deal maker, but it was in the realm of deal maker.
It could work for that. Certainly you can make the case for it. So what was the other one that you said? Encouragement was the one you wanted to look at?
Demeanor of command or encouragement. I don't know if it was encouragement. I was going to look at demeanor of command. Again, I
Okay.
don't think that it might be more captain stuff, but let's just see.
You project confidence, knowledge, and charisma. Your demeanor is such that those who see you automatically understand that you are someone important, accomplished, and with authority. When you speak, strangers who are not already attacking you give you at least a round to have your say. If speaking to a group that can understand, you can attempt to have them produce their leader and ask that they take you to their leader. You gain a free level of effort that can be applied to one persuasion task you attempt during this period.
I kind of like that one, but let's
You
go
like
look at
that one?
Yeah, let me look at it one more time at the what was it? Encouragement. Okay, so
Encouragement. While you maintain this ability through ongoing inspiring oration, your allies within short range ease one of the following tasks: defense, attack, or tasks related to any skill that you are trained and specialized in. So you burn it. So that's an interesting one. You burn an intellect point and you talk, and everybody within short range of you that can hear you, your allies, your crewmates, essentially can add bonuses to either defense, attack, or any skill that you yourself also have, like persuasion or seeing through deception.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, guys? You like that one better? Do you like or demeanor command? The last one I can either take me to your leader thing is certainly helpful. But this encouragement one can add some buffing for the party too. Okay.
It'd be nice to have some buffs going on.
Yeah. How do you imagine yourself behaving as an independent agent more often, or how? Mostly
Yeah,
hanging with the
well,
party?
I mean, I usually I think that works for me. This might be one I come back to. Yeah, but I think that works for me for now.
Okay. All right. There you have, you pop that into your special
Okay.
abilities. There you have your special abilities. And so now, do you feel that that Cipher System Weber Jix is approaching what Traveler Weber Jix was like?
Well, let's just look at Traveler Weber Jix. Can you see, wait 1 second. Can you see this screen real quick? My spreadsheet?
Uh-uh.
Oh, shit. All right, 1 second. And reshare. Ask for Weber Jix and boom, he appears. Can you see him now?
Yes.
Okay. So he had carousing, 4G, interrogation, liaison, recruiting, diplomacy, and streetwise. Of the things he used most, probably was body pistol, and I don't think I ever used 4G.
Diplomacy.
Diplomacy is what I use the most. And then,
Well, so
go ahead.
well, body pistol makes sense. You are proficient with light weapons and improficient with heavy weapons. So you are not a rifleman from the army.
Right. That I was always, I envisioned, or my career history, and I think envisioned it. Oh, it's all here, but I feel like I was in the diplomat service, and I feel like I was close to the quartermaster corps, which is where my graft came from. My grift came from, right? Where I was, I knew a guy who knew a guy who could give me whatever I want, sort of like a corrupt Ritter or O'Reilly. So, and I've been employing my skills on our behalf.
Okay. And as far as diplomacy is the case, I think the things that you have chosen are well within that area.
The
It's
reason
more.
I asked, there was a few of the flavors looked like they were really specific towards diplomacy and stuff, but
Well, let's take before we sign off on that. Let's take a look. Let's look at the flavors.
okay.
Was it skills and knowledge?
I think so. I gotta go back. So hang on a second.
Interactive skills, I bet. Yeah. So you're trained in 2 skills: persuasion, public speaking, seeing through deception, intimidation. Okay, it's sort of one you already got. Investigative skills.
I liked investigative skills.
Perception, identifying, lock picking, assessing danger, or tinkering with devices. So if you want to sacrifice one of your special abilities, you can get a flavor ability.
Shit, hang on, let me close up Jix there. All right, so let me go look at these guys. So it's my special ability, not my skills, but my special abilities.
Right.
This fast talk, spin identity. What was after spin identity? There was another one in here.
Encouragement.
encouragement.
What was the other one? Oh, there was interactive skills. So you've already taken in interactive skills.
Yeah, maybe that he's created enough with what we have. I can go
Okay.
through that system a little closer and see if there's one I want to get rid of. Right now, encouragement is on the chopping block. If I see something that's that feels like it fits him better.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right.
what about attacks, power shifts? We need to do any of this now or not? Or is he done?
No, nothing like that. Those are separate things.
What about the
This
advancement?
is a fully fleshed. This is a ready to go character.
So
Now you ultimately at some point you will put in your equipment, you'll put in description, that kind of stuff, which is down on the second page, I believe, of it. But yeah, this is Weber Jix.
Nice.
V1, one, and then what's the date? What's the date today? 22.
I have no idea.
Alexa, what's the date?
It's 22.
No, I was right. Okay. Tomorrow will be 23/23. Start date 23/23.
23. All right, perfect. All right, so we have got characters ready. How do you guys feel about this?
Okay.
I can stop sharing now. And
You
then
good?
while you're talking, I will
Okey-dokey.
I'll fill in equipment and stuff.
All right. Yeah. So take a moment and fill in your equipment, any of the other pieces of that puzzle, descriptions, that kind of stuff. If there's any questions, let me know. Describe, for Dan, for Captain Black with his cybernetics, you maybe describe that, how that's set up. Because right now it's the way it was set up. It was like a extruding stun stick, right?
No, well, we changed it. You said I could give him that pistol instead.
Right. Oh, the laser pistol?
Yeah,
Was it laser? Okay.
it was the personal sidearm. whatever
Oh,
that-
okay. Gotcha.
Is there
Okay.
all I see when I went to equipment is just light, medium, or heavy. Is there?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question, Les. There's no equipment in the rules book you gave us. There is an equipment book, but on the other hand, it seems like we could just tell you what we want and you could tell us.
I
to
think
do
we
that.
should continue to, so the Cypher system, and I'm looking for their equipment book, but they don't have one specifically because what they're doing is the system itself, the rule set itself is trying to be everything to everybody, right? So the equipment book would be the freaking phone book. So in this case, if you guys want to continue to use the Traveler Central Supply catalog, that's fine, and we'll just work with that, and we'll just sort of, square peg,
Yeah.
round hole it into how it works.
Like the example
Yeah,
would
you'd have
be,
to tell us it's a light, medium, or heavy
it's
weapon.
like
and that
seven
would
times.
determine
I
that.
have a light weapon that's a body pistol, but he modified my body pistol, so it wouldn't be cataloged specifically here because it's a better body pistol than the body pistol, right?
In this case, it would be defined as a light weapon. If it's better, remind me how it's better, and we can assign a bonus to it. Essentially,
Melts your face off, man.
it melts your face.
But like that's where I had questions. That's like, how do I know something is if it didn't have light in the title? How do we know that it was a light weapon versus medium versus heavy?
It depends. So a light weapon is going to be something. Well, usually I kind of look at it from this point of view. A light weapon is something you can hold in one hand. A medium weapon is something that you can hold in two hands. A heavy weapon is something you need some sort of mount for. So I'll give you an example of a heavy weapon, but a personal heavy weapon would be Coffin Doyle's laser machine gun would be considered a heavy weapon for purposes of this game. Because a normal character would use it sort of braced, right? It was a squad weapon. But a rifle would be considered a medium weapon. And a pistol would be considered a light weapon. A knife would be considered a light weapon. A truncheon or a stun stick would be considered a light weapon.
Got it.
Like, what about a baseball bat? What about a...
Probably a light weapon. I mean, I think that would be probably light as well. Especially if it's one of those like souvenir bats.
Right. Now here's where I get like confused though. Like, because the rules are so simple in Cypher, the light weapons do what they say, like it's 4 damage or whatever. It's like 2, 4, 6 or 4, 6, 8,
Right.
whatever it is.
Mhm,
So
right.
if all light weapons do 4 damage, then there's no difference between any gun that's considered light. They all do the same damage. Unless
Unless that
Okay.
you as a character have bonuses in, right? So Matt just made the point. He's like, the pistol I got from Seventide was upgunned in some way. And I don't remember exactly how that worked, but it was improved in some way. I'm going to give him +1 on that damage for that gun because of its history and that kind of stuff. So for him, that body pistol, which would normally do, I think, 2 points of damage, will now do 3 points.
Yeah,
when it
I
hits.
think that seems fair. And the other thing about body pistols I recall is that they're not metal, they're ceramic or whatever. So they don't come,
Correct.
yeah. So
Yeah, so they're not subject to being detected by normal magnetometers anyway.
versus the people who are dragging around howitzers on the rest of the crew.
So people who
Yeah,
like
I said,
sort
I
of
get the
staggered.
extreme- I get the extreme side, but like if you just think about it in terms of handguns, right? A 22 caliber or 38 caliber, a 57 Magnum, all are light and all do the same damage, which
Correct.
is a little illogical to me.
It's a little illogical, but for the purpose of this, so what we'll do is we will make our own changes to this, right?
Okay,
So if you were
yeah.
saying, so if we assume a body pistol is like a 38 or a 9mm, right? If you're saying, well, my pistol is a 45 or a 50 caliber pistol, it's a 50 caliber Desert Eagle that I have in my cybernetic arm. Well, then we'll say, you know what, we're going to give you
So we
+2
can-
on damage for that.
So we can tell you what the equipment is we want to
Yeah.
have, and you can help us think through what it looks like in Cypher. Okay.
Yep.
That helps.
I'm spraying.
Then we
angry
don't
mandarins
need the
for my
book,
gun.
obviously, because we'll just come to those.
Well, the
decisions
book is
like that.
going to be the central supply book is going to be dealing with things in a different manner, right? So, and it's going to be more detailed. Remember that Cypher is trying to be everything for everybody, right?
Yeah,
From a
GURPS.
milieu standpoint. And one of the things that we will see often over and over again in Cypher system as we play it is that not only does the DM have a lot of leeway in sort of describing things or making these things fit into the milieu, but the players have a lot of leeway too, right? So the best example I can give you is the Cypher system. So they made the rule set and then they made a bunch of like milieu books, right? And so one of the big ones is one called Numenera, and the idea is it's in the far future, but you have essentially a culture that has weird technology and magic at the same time, right? So one of the things that they do is if you are a fire mage, for example, basically they have a spell that's control fire. And that spell can be used in 10,000 different ways that are completely up to the player. So if you are a fire mage and you're playing in this game and you say, I have the spell control fire, I'm going to expend that control fire to light my finger on fire and light my pipe in front of these people to try and impress them and let them know that I'm a fire mage. Or you could say, I shoot a baseball sized thing of fire at a guy and try and hit him and light him on fire. Or I blast the campfire and light the campfire on fire where we're on our camping trip. There's a lot of ways. Or you could say I cause the fire to sort of wreathe me in this like fiery, smoky.
A little more creative
ambient.
storytelling than actually like codified by a specific set of rules.
Right, exactly. Whereas if you're playing D&D, a fireball is a fireball is a fireball. And
I
it
work
does
with
the
Brad
same
every
exact
day.
thing.
The word codify is stuck in my head.
There you go. That's going to be a problem. That's one of the dangers of working with our friend Brad. Is he will stick words in your head and let them roll around for a while.
You're like, why use a 25-cent word where I can use a $10 word?
I dropped my boss calls them Jesuit words. I made the mistake of telling him that I went to St. Louis U, which is a Jesuit college, and so when I say words like concomitant in a client presentation, concomitant, yeah, which means occurring at the same time. So feel free to use that in your own interactions with idiots.
Or just say occurring at the same time.
Or just say occurring at the same time. But I did drop concomitant during a presentation, and I immediately got a text from the boss. And then after, he called me back like 2 seconds after the presentation was over, and he's like, Hostetler, did you drop fucking concomitant in that presentation? I'm like, yeah, I said it.
Yeah, my boss was like, he's like, I want to do a multivariate tranching exercise. I'm like, wait, you want to organize a system of taxonomy? Why do we got to tranche it up here? Why are we going to go Frenchy on us?
I love tranche. It's a great word, and it's very specific. I use the word. When I worked in PR, I was working with a friend of mine, and I was drafting a press release, and I used the word scurrilous in the
Great
press
word.
release. And he comes back to me and he goes, "What's this?" And he points to the word scurrilous. I said, "Scurrilous." He goes, "No, what does it mean?" And I said, "It means that somebody is saying untruths about these people." He goes, "If you use the word scurrilous in a PR press release again, I'm going to fire you." And then he walked away.
My dad had a great story of one of the papers he worked for, because he had a master's in journalism from Columbia, but I think he said he got fired from the like the Brooklyn College paper because he got into an argument with the editor over, this is like 1971 or something, over the word decimated. Because the word decimated, he uses completely obliterated, destroyed, and then the editor who was more right is like, no, we only, it's 1 in 10 decimated. Nowadays, it's come back again. So my father's passed away several years ago. He'd be all pissed off when he's hearing people like they were decimated when they're, they're like, no, it's 1 in 10. You sons of bitches.
Decimated is a great word, and the history of that word is absolutely repugnant. The word was basically was used to describe when certain groups, especially conquered
Roman
armies, were
legions.
punished in the Roman. It's from a Roman word, but basically the Roman legions would say would decimate a conquered army, and they would force that army to select one man out of every 10, and they would force them to kill them. That was a decimation. The Romans that was their punishment for having the temerity to challenge the might of the Roman Empire. Brutal, absolutely brutal. All right.
On that
Welcome
charming note.
Yeah, welcome to Word Night. Where that kind of stuff. All right, so we've got characters. They are largely in things. If you guys got questions about specific elements of character, I know Dan, you were talking about the sizes of weapons and things like that. So are there some specific things that you were interested in?
Well, no, so that helped me already. So I'm just going to write down laser pistol, right? Because that's what I had.
Right.
But what I was remembering was that like a laser pistol did 3D damage, and the side pistol was only 2.
So I'm going to make a call right now and say that a laser weapon for its size is going to be 1 size increment more damaging than a slug throwing weapon of the same size. So if you have a 45 and a laser pistol, the 45 is designated a light weapon with any pluses. The laser pistol is designated as a medium weapon.
Okay.
Okay. So keep in mind there that there will be pluses. If you get +1 with a 45, and you so say it's the 2-4-6, right? Lights do 2, mediums do 4, heavy weapons do 6 points of damage. If you can somehow manage to get +3 with a 45 light weapon, it's going to do more damage than a laser weapon, which you don't get any bonuses for, right? So and that makes sense from a point of view. If you're skilled with a certain weapon, you're going to be able to do more damage with it, and that makes a certain kind of sense. Andrew, your freeze gun is going to be classified as a medium weapon to start with because it's a rifle, but it has specialty characteristics too. So we'll deal with those when it happens. So it will do damage as per a medium weapon, but there will also be cold damage associated with it, things of that nature.
Okay.
Cool.
I guess until I have a reason to complain.
Oh, when people play my games, they always have a reason to complain. All right, we cool? Is everybody happy with how their characters have turned out?
I think so. I'm still struggling with what gear I should get. Now, did we just say that we are keeping the catalog from Traveler?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So use that from the point of view of like selecting the types of gear. They will be assigned classifications. Like if you pull a laser rifle, and that's part of your gear, then that would be subject to. So, for example, it would be a regular rifle would be a medium weapon. A laser rifle would count as a heavy weapon. It would be subject to armor and stuff like that. So we'll make them fit.
Yes, sir. Okay, and it says that since I have I'm sorry, it says that I already have armor practiced in armor. You start with the game with a type of armor of your choice.
Yep, you can. Well, we'll take your choice up to a certain point. You're not going to have flat out badass 40,000 credit power armor. Up to medium. So if we, you know what, I'm going to punch up that book and let's just sort this shit out right now before you go crazy.
I'm looking at it right now, and I have.
Because I have a feeling that of all the people, that Eric would be the first person to be like, I am in a full-on power suit with mounted guns. All right, so here we go. I'm going to share this. There we go. All right, so we're in armor, section 1 armor. So I'm going to say that ballistic, ceramic, cloth, everything here on these pages. Diplo, flak shell, jack. All these are perfectly in line. I will go as far as saying polycarapace is okay.
Okay.
As is mesh. Protect is okay. You would not be leaving the army with tactical riot armor. I think that's
alright.
probably where we would draw the line.
But is that a website?
This is the catalog. So this is the central supply catalog. You have that, right?
I don't have it. I don't think.
All right, it's a friggin' beast. So
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. Let me check and see how big
got it.
this thing is.
I got it. I got
Oh,
it.
you got it? Okay.
Got
So yeah, so this is the thing. So in anti-energy, you can also take ablative armor here. I think that's fine. Dispersion armor, fireproof suits, fine. Reflective armor, also fine. Neural sheath, I would say probably not. I would say probably, let me just take a look at something real quick. Your credit limit on armor that you can take, well, I guess you could take riot armor too. And it also says on your Mallory, your traveler thing, you also have a vac suit, I believe. So you would have that as
We
part
all
of
have
your
back
equipment.
suits, right?
So,
That's part of the thing, yeah.
what's the best armor?
I think you can go up to combat armor. Not
Just to double check if this is still true. You had warned us last time that some of the armor that you're now looking at, if we are walking around in that armor,
yeah, that makes no sense, right?
that
So
makes
if
no
you're walking
sense.
around
People are gonna
in
come- yeah, they're going to come.
yeah, you're going to draw. Yeah, if you're walking around in combat battle armor, it's sort of like somebody walking around in that.
Body armor.
Well, yeah, the body armor and the full sort of, you've seen the guys on TV with the AR-15s and the full,
Yeah.
the full
Just going to
things and-
Arby's real quick for a bite.
Yeah, I'm just going to go grab a Subway.
Got my
So
RPG strapped to my back.
I better put on my my plate carrier. Yeah, that it draws attention. Now, depending on the law level of the world, the place you're in, that attention might be vigorous or it might be sort of off-put.
Right.
But well, and so like for example, like if you're on a space station that has a large military presence, for example, wearing combat armor might be more popular. I guess that's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. There might be more people doing it than if you were on if you were on a Sensio station in Mirabilis system, which is overwhelmingly civilian and corporate. You walk around there in empowered combat armor, and people are going to be like, "The fuck's up with this guy?"
Okay, so what could I have? Two kinds of armor. One casual, maybe I don't know.
Like this, like a protect suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll allow it as long as one of them as long as both of them are not like massive power armor kind of things. Now, as long as both of them are not combat sort of focused.
Gotcha. Sure. Great. Can I have a protect suit and what's the best combat armor I'm allowed?
It depends. I would. This probably the poly carapace is probably, in my opinion, probably the best thing you think. So the rest of these armors are kind of specific, right? So you got like the Diplo, which is worn under a normal shirt. It's like a protect suit. Flak jackets. These are designed to stop bullets. The mesh armor is designed to stop bladed weapons. But like anti-energy, if you have Ablat armor or an Ablat shirt, that's designed to stop lasers. So you got to try to kind of think of what you're likely to face.
Gotcha. Okay, sure.
And the reality is laser weapons are largely the purview of the military. Hold that thought. I'm going to be right back.
Okay. Got it.
Which is largely who we've been fighting.
Let's see. Where am I now? Okay.
Well, like extremely well-armed thuggery is what we've been fighting lately.
I cannot
Right now we're
find that
fighting
catalog.
We're fighting straight up military.
Les sent it to us like years ago, Andrew.
Yeah, it's Central Supply, Traveler.
Yeah.
It is a beast. I want to say it's like 50 gigs or something. No, it can't be that big. It can't be that.
Hmm.
You sent it via email. I'm looking for it myself.
I may have
Eric, you
deleted
could
it
go-
trying to clean up.
Yeah, you may. Eric, you could go for Reflect as your second one. That's 10 armor against lasers.
Where's that stuff?
So that's just page 18 of the book.
Let me find that here. Oh, ha.
It's only good for lasers, but
Mm-hmm.
that's mostly what we've been up against.
It does. It says it will impose a bane on any stealth check.
Yes, so
That's
you only
true.
put
So
that
you will
on
get-
when we know we're
Yeah.
going into full combat mode,
Got it.
and then the rest of the time you'd wear the ProTech.
I don't know who's, oh, it's Eric Fiss. I have it right here, the central supply catalog. I was just gonna respond to the email, Andrew, and send it to you again.
Please, I can't find it.
I
I
was just
searched my hard drive and mail.
I was just checking to make sure it didn't have,
Well, it's a beast. It's like,
General. I can send it to you.
well, it's
Did you have
15
it-
megs, so it'll get through probably, but
Did you have it in box somewhere or?
I thought I
We
did.
did for a while.
fuck.
We had some kind of link to something, didn't we, Les?
Let me check. I'm working on it. Let me see. I gotta go, I gotta
Something
go.
on Tiny Batman.
Les
if I
is
remember.
is fusing with machines right now. It's fusing with machine skill.
Wow, and he didn't even turn his camera off.
I don't even care anymore.
Les, I was thinking about it, when I hear people using the big words.
Oh, you do have
Brad,
it in the
I-
Dropbox.
Do I?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Can you get it?
I'm looking at it right now.
Excellent.
What pages are we looking at?
In this case, we were looking at, so like pages, like around 11, 7 through 17, that kind of thing. There's a bunch of armor in there.
That's where the armor is.
Now,
Gotcha.
you as a doctor, you may not be interested in wearing a bunch of armor. In fact, I don't think your character has any. Try to stick with,
You had Diplo or something.
yeah, try to stick with if you had Diplo or something in Traveler, then you have it now. So I don't know if you did have armor or not, but
I don't, I never bought anything. I think when we all had the chance, I figured I was staying on the ship most of the time anyway, but looks like this
That
may
didn't
be a
work
whole
out.
new world and
oh, it's a whole new world. Now that you guys are hunted by TILA
yes.
because of your murderous ways. All right, so while you guys are doing that, let's talk a little bit about Eric's new character, Mallory. So let me just give you kind of the scenario that you guys are in now and a little very quick sort of recap of what happened in August. All right, so in August, you guys are on Cymbeline Station. You've gotten back from the planet that you've gone and you've solved the cordyceps problem for them, got that all sorted, came back to Cymbeline Station, regrouped with Sergei. Sergei's like, I need a couple more days to fix the ship, but it's almost ready to go. You'll remember that you were getting some guns put on the ship, surreptitious ones that could be hidden from scans and things of that nature. And plus Jin was getting some increased capabilities to be able to help control those guns and that kind of stuff. In the meantime, you guys were kind of like getting some cargo and that kind of stuff, and you had a little problem. You got a notice from the Terran Interstellar Legal Authority, a guy named Keeve Smitchy, who was like head of office local, and basically said, come on down here, I need you to sign some paperwork. This has to do with the Ursay government filing complaints against you with Terra. We just need to sort it out. It's been adjudicated in your favor. There will be there'll be no problems. Come on down here, sign some paperwork, and we'll get you on your way. And you guys can continue on bringing cargo to the stars. Well, that turned out to be a massive lie. And it turned out that Keeve had basically set up a trap for you guys to capture you and turn you over to someone. You're not sure who, but it certainly wasn't, as you found out, the actual Terran Interstellar Legal Authority. Keeve Smitchy was acting on his own on behalf of a third party, and had used his influence as head of office in Cymbeline to lure you guys down there. Now, obviously, a gunfight erupted in various ways. Some people were killed, including Coffin Doyle. Other people were tied up, which was Smitchy, which you guys left him alive. But you guys ended up escaping. You found out some information, though, and basically, this guy, well, you found out the information that this guy was operating independently on someone else's behalf. You lost Coffin. You got out of there. Dr. Wagner, you were grievously wounded. If I recall, you were down to 1 hit point when you escaped. You guys,
How did Dr. Wagner get hurt? Because he was on the ship, wasn't he?
no, he was out. He was out with you guys. He
Oh,
ended.
it was Don was on the ship, right?
He came with Coffin Doyle.
I forgot that. Okay, I thought Coffin was like. I just remember he had 1 arm and 1 gun and was gonna like.
Yeah,
trade
no,
over
the
shore,
doc
yeah.
was in tow. And
I
then
assume
Don
the
was
doc
the one
just
that
holding like an
already was-
IV bag next to him, trying to keep him alive.
Yes. And Don was the one who already was trying to book traffic, book a ticket off the
Yeah.
planet.
He was like trying to sell our stuff on Craigslist or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So Coffin was killed, as you can see here. Sorry, here. Coffin was
Space
killed.
Craigslist.
Wagner was standing here by Coffin when he was killed. In fact, when you guys got out of the building, he was covered in blood, Coffin's blood, and he ran down these steps as this guy was essentially firing a submachine gun at him. And in addition to that, he got fired at by the receptionist, who also had a submachine gun. So these guys were throwing a lot of rocks around, and Wagner got hit several times and only barely staggered out. The last thing we did was a van, like a gravity van, pulls up. You see a couple of guys get out, and you're like, now what fresh hell is this? But it turns out they were Sergei's guys, and they're like, get in, and they grab you and get you off the street and take you careening down the streets of Cymbeline Station in their grav van to someplace else. What you guys ended up going to is basically one of Sergei's safe houses, and they're like, we will let you know what happened. We'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Sergei will be in touch, but in the meantime, stay here. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
This is kind of what it looks like in the space station safe house. You could, see there's beds. It's rather minimal kind of stuff. There's a lot of things. About twice a day, Sergei's guys will come by. There's a coded knock and a coded lock on the door. The knock is to let you know who they are. And the lock is to keep out unsuspecting people. But you guys have been kind of like chilling. I know that also, if I recall correctly, Weber, were you hit? I'm gonna have to check. Hold on. I think you were hit. I think both. Well, I know Captain Black was hit on a couple occasions by gunfire, so he was wounded.
Yeah, I had a 7 out of my 33. I was down 7.
So you were dead. So you were hit. Everybody was pretty much hit. You had brought in a medical team, a TILA medical team, and allowed them to come in and take care of some security guys that you guys had shot. But there wasn't anybody in the crew that hadn't taken a bullet in this thing. It was really, you guys skeeved out.
Except for Don.
Except for Don, right? So when they ask questions of like, who turned us in, who rolled us over, the first question out of Captain Black's mouth is, who wasn't there? Who wasn't at the thing? So yeah, so you guys don't know where Don is.
He wasn't at the sunrise over Macho Grande. I'll tell you that for nothing.
That's true. So they basically installed you into this safe house. And they bring you food, they bring you drink, they bring you medical supplies. Wagner, you have asked them, bring me, I need this, and this, lists and stuff like that. And slowly you guys have been sort of recovering from the thing, but you have no idea what's going on out the outside world.
As I recall, the exception of Captain or Andrew, I'm pretty sure everybody was injured for the night before, because as I recall, we painted our faces all up with makeup and stuff to look okay, because got us into like somewhat fighting position, but we were mostly beat the hell up from that last fight. Remember, I got shot like 3 times at our last fight when Eric ran off with my cover in the truck. And I think everybody, but I'm not sure. No, Don got injured too.
When you destroyed Melvin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, I was gonna say we all had to recover, because we were that fight was even worse than I think this gunfight, with the exception of losing Doyle.
Well, you guys were, so I mean, ultimately, I think if I recall correctly, Jix, you were probably in the best shape, and Smitchy's sort of message to you, I think, was directed to you. Let me check. Hold on, let me check some things.
Yeah.
There we go.
Jix didn't get hit too bad because Captain Black.
Yeah, here we
was
go. So
taking
this came
over.
over Neural Lace. Basically said, Mr. Jix, et al., crew of the freighter Gin and Tonic, Captain Jet Black commanding, UV SETI registration, blah, blah, blah. Be advised that our preliminary investigation into the incidents taking place at Greeburn Station have been resolved amicably. No charges within Salamini space. Kukulkan is interdicted to the G&T and crew thereon individually, which means you can't go there. Crew entirely requested to most specifically to present in person at TILA HQ Cymbeline at such and such a time for dispensation. Personal, the Jix, matter put to rest. Need you, Black, rest of crew to answer a couple of final questions and sign the paperwork. Signed, Smidgey. This is what brought you to there.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a message to Jix. Now, keep in mind that Jix, Captain Black has largely been sort of outside of the commercial elements of it. It really has been Weber who has been interacting with the planetary system and station authorities, especially from a commercial standpoint. I mean, Jix is the one who goes out and arranges for cargo. Okay.
Dealing.
Right.
Yep. So you also, by the way, received a couple of other messages which during that time, which I will show you. So the first one was Space Craigslist. And you saw first sale, category Cymbeline, antiques, rarities, literary, avant, revelatory, possibly evil. The Steiner Library, pristine with marginal alley, volumes 1 through 24, entire set. Excellent provenance with certificates, authorization, independently verified with expert documentation. By appointment only, serious choirs only. Message N. Palmer, Cymbeline Station. So this particular thing was confusing, to say the least, in that Palmer was the guy. Palmer is Jix's friend who hired you to go to his summer house, the Bettendorf, because he'd been attacked and the Steiner Library had been stolen from him. Now, keep in mind, Palmer is of the same ilk as Jix. He's a wheeler dealer. He does a lot of right now. What he's doing is he's moving a lot of frankly, weapons between various places, serving the Kazinti, serving the Affront. He's largely allied with the Affront, which means most of the material that he is moving on their behalf, which is outside of Terran law, is going to the Affront. And it was Mr. Palmer that put you in touch with Colonel Seventide of the Defenestrator. And he basically said, look, they killed my AI, Jackie Boy. They destroyed my summer home. I want revenge, and I want that library back. Now you guys see this on Space Craigslist at Cymbeline Station. Somebody is trying to sell the Steiner Library, and they are claiming to be Palmer, the original owner. So that's odd, to say the least, but this came out over your thing. And then there was a specific message to Dr. Wagner that came in before the current unpleasantness, which was this. I know where you are. I'm coming for you, Dr. Wagner. Count the days. And then an image file attached of a woman's face, badly injured or scarred, with some technology attached to her ear or something like that, which you, Wagner, with your familiarity with this woman, you immediately recognized as Chimera.
You could really see the ladle marks in her features there.
Mm-hmm.
Eric's
So that's what's going on there. So you guys, so after Sergei's guys pick you up, they install you in this safe house, and basically they leave you with some food, something to drink, and they basically are like, don't do anything stupid. You guys don't have time to do stupid because, frankly, Wagner is at first busy trying to help himself. He is very, very injured, and so a lot of Andrew, a lot of your efforts are designed to try and help yourself, get you back into a position. You're still grievously injured. You're like, I need the services of an auto dock on the ship and potentially a revitalization tank. But you get yourself into enough of thing where you can move around heavily. They bring you medicines that you ask for and tools that you ask for, so you're able to fix the other guys up. And I think that you, in every 24-hour period, would be able to bring back 2d6, or you know what? Let's embrace it. 1d20 points of damage to both to any other person in there with you, which would be Captain Black and Weber Jix. It's just the three of you at this point. So if you want to roll a couple of d20s and tell me who you're trying to heal, that would be good.
I don't remember, Captain Black, you're hurt worse than I am, aren't you?
Yep.
Why don't you do Captain first?
So roll two
I've got the
d20s.
happy
Just
banding.
one d20.
But now we're doing this in the new cipher system, right, Les?
Right. So what he can do is, if you want to expend some edge or effort points, that will add to that number. So in your case, I mean, in this case, you're stuck in a safe house. It really is not going to cost you anything from a game point of view to expend those numbers.
Yeah, we're gonna get them right back before, yeah.
Right. So
And
you
I've
have,
got to do 5 points of heat repairs for myself because those 5 I'd have to repair.
right. He can only repair you. So in this case, Dr. Wagner can only repair you up to a certain point, which is net 5 down from your total.
But then I can repair the rest.
You can repair the rest, theoretically, yeah.
Okay.
So in this case, if you want to burn the edge point and the effort point, you can bring this number to 12, but it's your call.
So I'm not real clear on what it takes to get him, like how many points and what I have to do to get him healed up.
Well, essentially, you're doing you're the famous doctor, right? So you get your base roll is a d20, which is the number of hit points that you are able to give a person back. You can also expend additional edge points for intellect and effort points to enhance this roll. So if this case, if you use your intellect edge and you use your effort point, you can add, which you have one of each, unless I mistake myself. You can add 2 points to this roll. So instead of a 9, it can be an 11.
Les, how many hit points am I down?
I don't know. Hold on a
Is that your
second.
old character sheet by chance?
Well, in this case, so your old character sheet, you had 33 total hit points and you were down to 12. So you were down 11. 21 hit points total. In the new thing, what is the sum of your ability scores?
42.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What? No, that can't be
I have
right.
to send you the updated sheet, but that's about the same as Dr. Wagner's stuff.
So you have 42. All right. So if we take 21 off of that, you're down to 21 points. So you're like half speed. I'm going to say it's still, because you have more hit points than you used to, it's still the same amount of damage.
Okay. So I need to heal 5 of it. If he upped the 9 to 11, that's 16. I'd still be down how much? 6. I think you said 21. So I'd be down like 6.
Right. If you have 42 minus 21 is 21. Add 11 would be 32. You'd still be down 10.
And then I would do the repairs for 5 of that, and then I'd be down 5.
Correct. Now, this is in a 24-hour period. Now, Andrew, I should say that once you burn your edge and your effort, that's all you get of those for a 24-hour period, right? So in this case, you've healed yourself to a certain extent, and you're now working on your friends. So you won't have the opportunity to add those bonuses if you go to work on Weber Jix, for example.
Yeah, I just don't think 2 points is going to make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
You gonna hang on to them?
I guess.
All right. So then you are. So in this case, I'm going to
I'm
need.
still 7 down.
You're still 7 down, but that assumes that you have successfully repaired yourself. In this case, I am going. So what is
Of his 42? Shouldn't some of those be mechanical points?
they are? That's what we're talking
That's what
about.
we're
So he's got
saying.
5. So he's got 5 off. So your physical points, he's repaired 9 of them, and he's reserving some of that left. So you went from 21 to 30. So you have 30 total hit points out of 42. Now what you're trying to do in this case is repair the 5 hit points on your arm that is mechanical. So in this case, you have skill in mechanical repair, right?
Correct.
All right. So what I'm going to do is this is a skill, like a skill test, right? So
Right.
you have to roll to do this thing. So hold on a second.
And yeah, you're supposed to say whether it's like easy.
Okay. Right. So I'm going to say, in this case, a task difficulty. So your arm is complicated. You are injured. That's going to make things harder. So I'm going to say the task difficulty here is 14. You have to roll a 14 or better to get those 5 hit points back. Now you have bonuses and stuff like that. So this is for you would be an intellect skill.
A
Correct.
14 on 2d6?
On 1d20.
Oh, I thought it was d6 in Cypher. Sorry.
Nope, it's d20.
D20. Okay. Ouch.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage. It got hit by a bullet. All right, so for you, do you have? So let's look at that. Did you roll? Hold on a second.
No, I didn't roll yet because I've also got things like edge or
Right.
extra to spend or the machine interface, which I can decrease that difficulty by 1.
Right. So if you decrease that difficulty run, it's a logarithmic scale. So you take if you use machine edge to decrease that ability, it goes from a 14 DC to an 11 DC.
Okay, then I would do that.
Okay.
And then I don't have, it's an intellect check now. I don't have an intellect edge, but I can still spend a point of intellect to.
Correct. You could also spend a point of effort.
So I'll do effort.
Okay. That brings it down to a 10.
Okay.
All right. You got to roll a 10 or better to get those points back.
And do it, is it perhaps prorated if I?
No, it's not. It's fixed or not fixed. So in this case, you're spending. Ooh, you almost got it fixed. In this case, I tell you what, I'll give you half back. I'll give you 3 back.
Okay.
But there's still some servos that are acting up.
But I can do it again tomorrow, and I can
You do it again tomorrow when you get your.
We're here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. And so nothing happens that first night. You don't hear anything. The guys who come and bring your food, they are not talking to you about things. They don't know any news. You're probably like, "What's the news?" And they're like, "We don't know. Shut up. Take this." And then they bolt. So you guys spend a night kind of not dealing with it. The next day, Wagner, you can step back in, so everybody gets their effort and edge points back. Then Wagner, you can step in and do more healing on these guys if you want to, and certainly Captain Black, you can take another shot at some of those servos in that stupid ass arm of yours. But in the meantime, you guys are like, getting stuff. When the guy comes by about mid-morning to bring food, he tells you that Sergei is going to come around in the afternoon and give you more information. But that's all he says. So at this point, I think we need to figure out let's talk about how Mallory meets you guys and gets hooked up. So there's a couple of different ways. I mean, Mallory and Coffin were friends. And it's possible that Coffin and Mallory was on Cymbeline Station. So it's possible that Coffin found out that Mallory was on Cymbeline Station, was like, "Hey, I'll meet you for a drink." And he just never got there. And so Mallory started looking to find out I know my friend would never blow this off. What's the dealio?
If this event wasn't completely surreptitious, like we fought real police officers or whatever.
Yeah.
And Doyle was killed. We left his body behind, right? So they know he's killed, right?
It would have theoretically it would have been on the news feeds.
Right.
Yeah.
So I could see him like seeing the news, like, "Oh my God, my pal, what happened?" And I'm heading over there.
Yeah. I think Graves would go, Mallory Graves would go knock on the door of the tonic. Don't.
Okay. You would immediately, at that point, you would have immediately, before you even got to the door of the gin and tonic, you would have been stopped by both Cymbeline constables and TILA security.
Oh,
There's about 4 guys that would sort of like step out of the shadows and say, hey, you can't go in there. What's your name? Who are you? That kind of stuff. And basically they would, they would scan you and I'm assuming you wouldn't bring any weapons to that
no.
because you're looking for your friend. But I'm going to say that you have to make a deception check
Okay.
at DC 11
Mhm.
to try and convince these guys. Actually, I'm going to up that up to DC 13 to try and convince these guys that you're not a criminal, because they're definitely in a criminal mindset.
I see.
That was your chance, Eric. You could have like gone out in a blaze of glory and got rolled up character number 3 in a matter of minutes. Like,
All right.
I'm
Right.
here to
Probably
avenge my friend.
Probably should just have them ready, is what I'm thinking.
Right, it's true. I just quickly rolled up a character in the
The
fast.
generator.
Yeah, and wow, he's strong.
Isn't that cool? That generator, it really is. It does work well.
This character is a lot stronger than my guy. Anyway, so I'm gonna say, hey, I am just I'm here to apply for a job. I heard that this ship needed a housekeeper, but I might have the wrong ship. Could I just knock and just introduce myself? I'm just trying to look for a job. I've been out of work. I'm a vet. Yeah, I was on P.
The TILA guys who are wearing full on face masks like motorcycle helmets come up to you and they're like, "Look, dude, well, I appreciate that. This ship is under interdiction. I get what you're saying, but yeah, they don't need a housekeeper. You're gonna have to move along. Let me see her. Let me see some ID. Go ahead and
sure. Yeah.
go ahead and roll that
These aren't the
deception
droids
check.
you're looking for.
All right.
So, do you have skill in deception?
I am not sure. That's a very good question. I have 3 skills: perception, speed, defense, and intellect. Defense.
Boy, that's tough. No, so probably not. So just give me a flat up roll. You said military man, so I'm going to bring it down from, what did I say it was, a 13? I'm going to bring it down to a 12.
Okay.
Because the guy's sympathetic to you, because he himself is a military guy. You mentioned you're an MP and that kind of stuff. So it's a 12 DC to sort of convince this guy that you're a housekeeper.
It was on planet P.
I say, yeah, I was on P, and I look,
You were on planet P?
yeah, P.
I heard about that. That was tough. Take another -1 on that.
All right, so I just roll a 20.
Just a D20. You don't have any bonuses. 15. All right. So they're convinced that you're just a housekeeper looking for work. The guy takes you aside and he's like, look, dude, anybody on planet P, yeah, you're okay by me. So he's like, look, I don't know where you learned that these guys were looking for housekeeper or something like that, but you need to stay away from the ship. The ship is under interdiction by TILA and Cymbeline forces, and you just between you and me, best to just stay away. There's no job here.
Okay, all right, brother. Thank you for the heads up. Wishing you a smooth day.
Semper Fi, brother. Go on.
All right, I slouch off.
All right. So yeah, so you get to the ship and basically there's a contingent, a small contingent, but they are I mean, you saw the Cymbeline constables had stun sticks and pistols. The TILA guys were loaded for bear. They were wearing armor and had laser rifles. That they were there, and they were obviously working together. And basically, I mean, they're essentially saying, look, you can't come here. This ship is under interdiction. It's interdiction in the colloquial sense is property of the local police.
Got it. Yeah.
It's not truly property. Well, it's like civil forfeiture, right? You can
Right.
theoretically you can get your money back, but you know what they say: all cops are thieves. So they don't say that, but basically they're like, you know, this is under interdiction. We're
Right.
taking this
Okay.
ship.
So all I know is that on the news on Holocast News, I saw that my comrade Coffin Doyle was gunned down in a firefight with the cops, and
Oh, they made a big to do about it too. It was on all the news stations. You know, firefight at TILA headquarters, Cymbeline. It went out on the wires. Coffin Doyle, you know, his picture, and you can tell it's his like military exit picture when they took a picture when he left the military. So he's just, yeah,
my
he was,
comrade.
yeah, and they showed pictures of his body, not all the blood stuff, but you could tell he was gunned down.
All right.
I
And
swear he had 2 arms when I knew him.
Well, one thing that you do see is that he is missing an arm, and 2, he has what you immediately recognize as a laser machine gun, a squad level military weapon, which is lying on the ground next to him. Obviously, the media is portraying this as him being some sort of like, you know, psychotic ex-military Rambo type who went berserk.
yeah.
And that's how the stories are going. But I mean, you knew this guy. He wasn't like that. I mean, when he, you know, he worked in the kitchen. He was a badass with a spoon, but he never, you know, he wasn't a psycho.
Right. He sometimes had a problem with his temper, but you know, we all did. You know, a bunch of grunts.
Everybody has a bad day.
You know, it's so you know, we all right, but I don't know where to find his crew. I would like to find his current crew. I just to check in with them, and maybe they are hiring, because you know, I'm actually lost. I'm broke. I got some gear, but don't have much money saved up. If they got a gig open, I could maybe introduce myself, see if it's a good fit. If so, maybe they would let me sign on. But I don't know where to find them.
Let's do it this way. So Mehmet Tamm is still on the loose. He didn't attend. He didn't go to the TILA thing. He's still on the loose. He's not at the gin and tonic. I'm going to say that since he's not here to defend himself, I'm going to say that as you walk away from the gin and tonic and you're sort of shaking your head, mumbling to yourself, he's like, over here, and he's like, what were you doing over by that ship? What's going on? And you tell him, look, I'm looking for my friend Coffin Doyle. And he's like, come with me. And he takes you to some, you know, sort of local little tavern or something like that. He's like, look, I'm crew on the gin and tonic. I don't know what happened to my friends. I can't find them anywhere. I can't raise them. You knew Coffin. I know Coffin's dead. You knew him. Maybe you can help me find my friends and get back together. And maybe we can figure out a way to get this ship out of here.
All right. You know, Coffin and I were in the MI to get together. We did several tours. We our last tour was on Planet P, Ugly Planet, and yeah, I would love to find out more about what's happened to my comrade Coffin, and if I can help you liberate that ship from those guys, I'd be glad to help out.
You say that, Tamm nods at you. He's like, thank you, thank you, Mr. Graves. He orders another drink and see a sad look come over his face. He's like, you know, nobody on the ship knew this, but I loved Coffin Doyle in a way that I couldn't really explain to the other guys. I could only watch him from afar, the way he moved with that one arm, that sort of weird sort of way that he moved like 3 kobolds in a trench coat, the way he fired that machine gun again and again and again.
Where's the careless whispers? Come on. He really brought the word spoon into spooning.
Right. All right.
I can't get it up. I can't get careless with for work at a time, but
Got it. Well,
it's like if there's any way that you and I can work together to revenge him, then don't tell the other guys. Then you're in. Then you're in. I'll make sure that you're in.
I am ready to get some payback for my pal Coffin.
Then he asks you, you're very much like him.
Oh my
Coffin.
God. No, I'm a lot more mellow, but
You don't mind me asking, what are you wearing underneath that armor?
Protec.
Don's gonna love this.
Okay.
This
All right, you're in. He's like, okay, but you're still, so you're in, but you're out. You're not at the thing. You don't know a thing. And Mehmet's gonna try and figure out how to get back to you guys. In the meantime, back at the safe house,
you have to do something really boneheaded to get in.
Here's your spoon. Now, I want you to take out the next 3 old ladies that you see on the street.
No problem.
All right, so back at the safe house, the guy who brought the morning food and stuff basically said Sergei's going to come this afternoon. He'll have more information for you. So it's about 36 to 40 hours after the gunfight at the TILA offices. You guys have seen nothing. The news feeds and everything that are associated with this safe house, it's completely dead from from electronic standpoint, and not only that, I mean, it's obviously been sterilized in a lot of ways to keep to keep not only things from coming in, but from keep information from going out. Safe houses are they keep the people inside safe, but sometimes they have to keep the people outside safe. And so there's that. So about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you hear that knock on the door, and you hear the lock engage, and in comes Sergei with a couple of guys. The guys drop off the food. Hold on a second. Oh, God almighty. Everything is so screwed up here. So the guys drop off the food, and obviously you guys are hungry, and Sergei comes in and it's like, it's been a busy 2 days since all of this went down. I do have some news for you on certain things. And I'll try to answer any questions you may have about the thing. For now, let me tell you the first things first. You are still safe here, although I would caution you to be very careful about using neural lace for outside activities. You could talk to yourselves in here. The area is shielded, but if you use lace to access the local networks for Cymbeline Station, they have tags on all your names. They will be tracking any indication. What they were also tracking your navigator, Mr. Tamm. No one seems to know where he is, but they're going to put a bot on his neural lace as well to see what he's. I worry for him because he is not here in a shielded area, and if he uses his neural lace, which I assume he will because he has no reason not to, they will find him pretty quickly. In any event, Cymbeline locals and TILA are searching for you. They have been rounding up the usual suspects, to coin a phrase, but they are squeezing their informants very diligently. I have connections within the local Cymbeline constabulary, and my informants tell me that this has been that the Terran Interstellar Legal Authority, TILA, is very upset with you. You have one of the men that you shot died. There are 2 others in critical condition, one of which may die in the next 24 hours. And so there is murder charges being leveled against you for an unwarranted attack. Now, in certain advocacy circles, those killings are being assessed to Coffin Doyle, who died at the scene. And if this ever comes to a magistrate's office, it would be my advice as a non-lawyer that you take that same tack, that Mr. Doyle was under a great deal of pressure. He was injured. He was on drugs, and he was heavily armed, and he misunderstood a routine interaction with the TILA security with an attack on his friends, and did that. That would be my way to play, but you can play it any way you want if you end up between a magistrate. But in the meantime, do not use your neural laces to access local network. Person to person, no problem. Other than that,
So
don't.
let's talk, Sergey. What's the end game here? First of all, thank you for keeping us safe. I don't see you have any real reason to. I mean, beyond that we're paying customers, and we appreciate it. So
It's not
for us to
entirely
continue to-
selfless. I see you guys as being valuable to me in the future. And to be honest, you did myself and my father and my uncle a significant favor on the planet that you did, and I feel
We're
a certain
grateful.
sense of obligation.
So let's talk about, first of all, the obligation of that greasy little weasel who got us into that office. It was a setup he was not working for the Terran local authority. He's a Terran local authority
Mhm.
bureaucrat, but he was clearly working for a third party. So we got on our neural lakes, we have a recorded of him, whatever his story was. Did that get out anywhere, or is this something we can upload to somewhere to tell the story? Also, secretary knew everything because she was clearly with us at the end. But
You're talking about Keep Smitchy, yes?
yes.
Smitchy was taken into custody about 12 hours after the event taking place, after we picked you up outside of TILA. He was taken into custody and then released about 8 hours after that. I don't know. This was all done in the TILA section. My constables don't know anything about that. I'm trying to get them to try and get me some information about that. We do know that he was released about 8 hours later, went back to TILA headquarters, and has since left there and ensconced himself in his personal quarters with a significant amount of security. Well, what he thinks is surreptitious security, but which is obvious to us. He has a cadre of non-TILA security groups. I can also say that the TILA people, the security groups, are watching him and are very well aware of the security defenses that he has put around his personal residence. He stayed there for the last 28 hours.
Okay. So we'll settle up with him later. I think we are Captain Black or Gray or whatever. Captain, did we
He'll
get
always
everything
be
we wanted?
Captain Black to me.
Did we get everything we wanted from him on this situation? I think he spilled all his guts. I don't know if he knew anything else he didn't tell us. It's been 3, 4, or 5 months since we last played. So
Well, I think he knew more, as in he knew who he was in contact with. So he was holding out on us by not even giving us that much information. But I think at this point in time, he's going to be under heavy watch by the people who bribed him. It may not be worth going after him.
I did find something. We did come across something interesting that may be of interest to you. When we learned that Smitchy had been released by TILA, we went ahead and put a few. I had one of my technical people put a few cutouts on his text. He made a foolish mistake early on in his release and sent a message via the local network on his home terminal. He has not done so since, but I can show you the contents of that message.
That'd be
And he
great.
pulls
Well,
out
that would be nice to see.
pulls out a piece of like dot matrix printer paper and shows it to you. So you can see this is largely transition message. You can see it's in the normal sort of electronic transmission subspace transmission. So you have a start transmission. So 7-1. So you got 2484, which is the year. 7-1, which is yesterday. At 7:34 a.m. local time and 55 seconds. Message came from Cymbeline, TILA location. So he's using his TILA. In this case, he's using TILA locator codes 4368. That's his personal code to access local network resources. But he's using it from his house. Subspace transmission. He's encrypting it with yellow encryption, which is pickable, frankly, but it's probably all he could work up since he doesn't have access to a TILA terminal. That's probably the best encryption he could put down. He says, then his title is TILA site cap case Mitchie, and his personal identifier number, personal non-gov non-mil. That means this is a personal message. It's not related to business and it's not related to military matters. It's a text only message. Here's the message.
Hmm.
Operation Vesper incomplete. 2 CAS, 1 TILA, 1 target. CAS target C Doyle. Non-CAS targets Escape, Protected, S. Golgachov. He looks up from that. He goes, my last name, as far as TILA is concerned, is Golgachov. And it has his personal identification number on there. Current location, cur loc unknown. We're working on it, all units. All right. About 28 minutes later, he got a receiving message from Greenpernt.
Mhm.
Greenpernt Station, subspace transition, not encrypted, no source document. So it doesn't. They're anonymized. It's an anonymized message. Personal non-gov non-mil, same thing. Text only. It says start 20 KCR 20 kilocredits
Hmm.
for Doyle, 0 kilocredits for non-casualties.
Yeah.
Find, finish, get paid. Big Grizz wants this ASAP.
Okay.
Little lady, mad, your boy's got Doyle. Tread lightly around that one. She says Wagner next on list.
Right.
She en route Cymbeline. Don't let G&T leave Cymbeline. Don't get in her way. End it.
So
9 minutes
There
after that message was sent, another message came from Smitchy's place. Cymbeline, TILA location. He's using his thing. He's trying to encrypt again. Site cap, case Smitchy. He's not using much in the way. He thinks the encryption is going to keep people from knowing who he is. Personal, non-gov, text only, on it, and that's the end of the transmission.
Uh-oh.
there we go. So
All
in
right.
case there was any doubt that he had been working for the Ursay,
Stupid Ursay. They're always
Where'd you get Ursay out of this?
Big
Big
Grizz.
Grizz.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be.
Thank you for that. It was very serious. That was very
Was that
non-biased
convincing?
there.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
so
I can't tell.
your fast talk skills are gonna you need to upskill those a little bit. Okay, so it's still, but we're interdicted to Cymbeline, right? We can't, or I'm sorry, to Greenpernt, right? We can't go back to Greenpernt even if we're able to get the station free.
Well, Greenpernt. So according to Smitchy's earlier thing, it said everything had been solved. The whole problem at Greenpernt had been resolved. Tara was like saying, look, if if the Ursay at Kukulkan have a problem with the guys from the Gin and Tonic, that's a problem with the guys from the Gin and Tonic. They haven't violated any laws in Terran space, so we can't interdict them from Greenpernt. So theoretically, at least based on Smitchy's first message, you guys are cool to go to Greenpernt. But frankly, can you trust it? Because Smitchy's first message also said, "Come by, sign some paperwork," and he showed up with a dozen security guys to take you into custody. So that was all lies.
Hired goons versus real.
So what he says is like, look, I don't know. I can't tell you what Tyler's thinking. He goes, I don't have any insight into that. My guys aren't in that. I can tell you what the constables are saying, which is basically like, Tyler's looking for you, and they're pissed because one of their guys is dead. Another guy is going to be dead. They got another in critical condition, and they think that it was a shootout. And that doesn't happen in TILA security. TILA security guys are used to taking people into custody because they deserve to be in custody. They're not used to a bunch of like average schmo freighter crew showing up with laser stuff and freeze guns and throwing the shit into a freaking brouhaha.
Yep.
So they're upset. The constables are like pissed at TILA because TILA's up in their business and trying to get all their resources and say, we need your guys to look for these guys. And the constables are like, hey, look, these guys are your problem. They went into a TILA office, so what Sergei will tell you is that TILA offices, regardless of where they are in the universe, are Terran territory, for lack of a better term. It's like being in an embassy, right?
Yeah.
So they're a law unto themselves. So all this happened inside of essentially an a Terran location, not a Cymbeline location. So the Cymbeline higher ups, who tolerate the TILA guys at best and outright dislike them at worst, are saying, hey, if you guys had some people commit murders, it's not part of our shit. It's your shit. And we don't have time or energy or personnel to help you sort out your shit. And so there's a lot of back and forth going on.
Right. Okay.
Bless you, Matt.
But that's what Sergei's like. My guys in Cymbeline constables are saying, look, they're being real dicks about this, and because they're hot to trot to get a hold of you guys.
So
And he's like, if it was me, I would throw this Doyle guy under the bus. He's a lone psycho. Try and make right with the TILA guys, and that way they'll lift the interdiction on your ship, and you can get the hell out of here.
that's one way to play it. There's a couple other things, cards we haven't played yet. One,
Sure.
who's our Spacey Sprockets guy? Hey Tom, who's our Spacey Sprockets guy? I always forget his name. Our billionaire
Mem?
who's gonna no, the guy who sent us on this original mission.
It's a company, not a.
Oh, it's a company, Spofulam, the Spofulam Corporation. So when Yamazaki is your contact with them. Now you haven't heard from her for a while. She did leave you a message a little while back once you really got to Cymbeline, and she's like, look, we got to talk, make sure you guys are on the right page, because you're trying to figure out who's kidnapping their scientists.
Right. Well, this all goes back to this. It's still, I mean, it's all still connected, right? So they might be, she might be able to pull some levers to spring us here. Two,
she might be, but
Palmer.
getting her a message is going to be a problem.
We got a side quest. Maybe we got Palmer's deal here. If we get a message to Palmer saying, hey, your Steiner library is out in the open, looking for a buyer, saying it's you, we can leap on this, but we need the heat off us. So it's not something you can do. Three,
Okay.
I'm sure Sergei knows a guy who can change all our IDs and the plates and the VIN numbers on a gin and tonic. We go off on our merry way as Schmin and Schmonic or something, right?
He sort of laughs. He's like, look, they have people standing in front of the doors of the gin and tonic. It is under interdiction, and he's like, look, they've got gravity clamps on it. I can't. Even if I could get you into the ship, we would have some troubles. We would have to release the gravity clamps. We would have to get you out and for away. He goes, maybe we could come up with an idea on this. It's not an unheard of for people to get ships out from under interdiction, but it is difficult. I can help. I will help you. But right now, I'm not entirely sure how we do that.
Those are the avenues I see. Does anybody, rest of the crew, you guys got anything that I haven't spelled out there?
Well, we could obviously leave without the ship in the short run if there's something we need to accomplish that then would allow us to come back and get it.
Okay, I hadn't thought of that, but yep.
But where would we go? What are we trying to achieve?
Well, we go back to
right?
Greenpert and beat the snot out of some bears, probably.
I would absolutely love that, but I don't think it's going to free up the ship.
Well,
right now it's like Bears 1, the gin and tonic crew like 57 on casualty count so far.
That's true. But Doyle counts for 2, so it's Bears 2. Gin and tonic 57.
57. Okay.
Well, so he's like, look, the bigger problem is you've got gravity clamps on the gin and tonic. It's been sealed outside by TILA, which basically means that there's guys out front. The good part is that they've also so Jin, the AI that runs the ship, is obligated to cooperate with TILA. It's a cutout that's set into every AI that's made, and so it is cooperating. However, so he says that we don't. It's not all bad. He's like, here's the good. That's mostly bad. It's mostly bad, but there's some bright spots. So he'll say, look, the cooperation mandate that TILA has enacted can be overridden by either the captain or the first mate / navigator. That means either Black or Tamm can override TILA cooperation with Jin. Basically, there's a code phrase that needs to be uttered, a few keys that need to be punched, and that will cause Jin to essentially be unobligated to follow TILA rules, and will follow Captain Black's or Mehmet Tamm's or both's orders. Right?
Okay.
So that's good. Tamm could override it, Black could override it. They haven't removed the cargo. So you guys still have 77 tons of cargo, which is now loaded into the bowels of the gin and tonic. And that's because they haven't had an opportunity yet, right? So it's one thing for TILA to say, we have a warrant out for these guys' arrest for various crimes, or they're persons of interest in various crimes. It's quite another for them to invalidate a commercial contract that has been partially discharged in a commercial venue, right? So Cymbeline Station is a commercial hub for not only station stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that gets transferred here. Remember where Cymbeline is. Cymbeline is largely on the edge of the war zone between the Affront and the Kazinti, right? So there's a lot of commercial activity that takes place here, and Cymbeline government defends its rights and the rights of its commercial entities vigorously against Terran authority. So while it's possible and potentially even probable that eventually TILA will get the warrants and writs and lawful authority that they need to remove the cargo from the gin and tonic, that cargo is still there, which means the ship is technically and legally still a freighter rather than evidence. Right. So at one point, at the point where other people's property is removed from the ship, the cargo, 77 tons of cargo that Weber Jix arranged for before you guys went down to see TILA, as long as that cargo is on the ship, it is legally speaking an independently owned freighter. Once that cargo is removed, TILA can exercise its lawful authority to upgun their interdiction and basically say this is now Terran Interstellar Legal Authority property. Until such time as we have adjudicated the crimes that have been allegedly committed by the crew.
So let me ask this: in this world we live in, like the complicated thing, and what I think Weber Jix would feel guilty about, he's perfectly happy gunning down mercenaries left and right that have tried to gun him down, but these were legal Terran authorities, right? That decided to break free from. So he's going to have to carry a measure of guilt with that. So the question is, one, does he anything besides that going fully on the outlaw trail? Does he see any way we can get out of it where we're not going to slammer? Like you said, we can throw it on Doyle under the bus, but is there a weird guild in this sort of environment situation?
So
for the compensation of dead soldiers.
Remind me of your skills. What skills are on your sheet?
All right, 1 second.
And or does anybody have like
I have
seeing through deception?
I have seeing deception. I have seeing deception, cryptography, perception, and persuading.
Okay. All right. So Wagner, did you say you have seeing through deception as well?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to mark this as a DC 15 legal challenge against seeing through deception. So you guys are on the second day, so you have all your effort and edge back. It's an intellectual challenge. If you want to burn points in that, you can bring that down.
I'm going to burn it, so I'm going to add a +1 as my roll, basically.
Depends. So for your trained, so you get an automatic +1 on that. And then if you want to burn edge or effort, you can add those points to that roll as well.
I'm going to add. So edge is 1. What is effort then?
Effort is like saying you're going to think really hard about it.
I'm gonna think really hard. I got nothing but time here, so I'm gonna think real hard on it. So how much is that? Another 1?
Another 1, yeah. It depends on how much you have in your effort pool. I think it's 1.
Yeah, it's just 1 right now. All right, so 1d20 +3 is what I heard.
Yep.
So here we go.
9. All right. Dr. Wagner, do you want to try and see through deception as well?
Yes.
All right. Do you want to add any other points to that DC 15?
Sure. I'll add 3 as well.
Okay. 21. Okay. So nice. Weber, you're a bit confluxed. You're like, look, I've operated on the periphery of the legal system for a long time, largely in the service of avoiding it. So my knowledge of the legal system is somewhat truncated. Dr. Wagner sort of steps forward or leans forward from his chair. You can see he's still grievously injured, but he can say, I've had a fair amount of interaction with the Terran legal authorities for a variety of reasons. And I'm here to tell you, and basically what he says is that the question was again, is there any way out of this? So Wagner's opinion is yes, there is a way out of this, but it would require there's a couple of ways out of this, he would say. Basically, it would require a couple of things. One way is to turn ourselves in, throw ourselves on the mercy of the magistrates, say it was all Coffin Doyle's fault when you were just doing that, but you're going to have a couple of guys on the security forces, the guys who lived, who will say no, this was this is something going bad. Now they are aware of Keith Smitchy's perfidy. You have to assume, because he was taken into custody, he was interrogated for 8 hours, and then released to his own home. Now he is what Sergei will tell you is that he is banned from leaving Cymbeline by TILA, so he can't leave. So he's probably under some sort of house arrest.
I'm assuming his life depends on him finding us right now too, so he's motivated to find us.
Right, exactly. So that may not be the best course of action. The other course of action, legally speaking, would be to bring outside pressures to bear on TILA and convince, and if you bring outside pressures who are saying, look, this was Smitchy running an operation. These guys have committed no crime. They have committed no things. This is they were provoked. They were within their legal rights to defend themselves. And while Coffin Doyle may have taken those legal rights to 11, he died for his temerity, and that shouldn't be the case. And then you could throw a bunch of other stuff. Is like, look, we called in their medics to help their guys who we defended ourselves against. We had no interest in killing them. You could bring in Bria, who loves Captain Black, and say, look, she was a witness to Keith Smitchy admitting that thing. We have recordings that where Smitchy is admitting, at least to a certain extent, his guilt in this, and try to say, look, that was it. So there's a couple of different ways around this problem. Both of them are difficult. And in the meantime, you are stuck in a safe house guarded by a criminal with your ship under interdiction.
A magnanimous criminal. I'd like to point out that we appreciate his efforts, but I'm always like, what strings have been attached to me?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously he's not a selfless guy, so he's thinking, I do this huge favor for these guys. Eventually, if they survive,
one day I will come to you.
I will come to you
on
for
the day of my daughter's space wedding.
Yeah, and this day is today. So I mean, he's probably thinking these guys have promise, and I could certainly use them in certain ways. Now, at this point, Sergei will pipe up and say, look, there are ways around gravity clamps. There are ways around TILA security. There are ways that we can get you on that ship. It's not easy. It's not cheap. But if you want to make a run for it, we can start putting that plan in place.
The last one is like proven. Can we get innocent until proven guilty, where we pay a bail and then take our cargo where it needs to go, because we're still legally bound to get the cargo to where we have set it, and then we'll come back to it, face the music at a later time.
Wagner and Jix both give me another legal knowledge roll, which is the same as the last one.
Which I think I only have a 1 now, right? Because I burned my other points.
You burned your other points, yeah.
Right, 1. So
and Wagner, you may have burned your points too, so you may be down to 1.
Man, I can only roll.
Ooh, that's
9.
close. I'll give you a little.
Okay.
Wagner, what do you say?
Wagner doing a better job there.
I have to roll all over again.
Yeah, but it'll +1 instead of +3 this time.
Clicking
All right.
button.
So this is more Jix's thing. So Jix, you know about bail, but reality is, if you guys get taken into a custody where one person has already died, another person is likely to have died. I mean, you guys are, in the voice of certain types of media, you guys are cop killers. The pressure to hold you without bail and send you to the nearest magistrate, which is Tau Ceti, which means planting you on a TILA ship, jump 3ing over to Tau Ceti, and getting in front of you a magistrate. That's going to be weeks. In the meantime, while the gin and tonic sits here. And in those weeks, and Sergei will tell you, in those weeks, almost certainly you will be found in breach of your transport contracts, and that cargo will be removed. Which means it's open then the ship is now open for TILA to
Which
essentially
moves us to get off this Cymbeline Station as soon as possible.
Sergei is like sort of shrugs. He's like, I don't know. It's your decision. But if it was me, I would want to be leaving.
And time check, just really quick.
Oh, are we
Yeah,
late? Oh, okay. All right. So we get any final quick questions for Sergei before we bolt?
Great game.
All right. So
Yeah,
here's what we're gonna do. I want you guys. So a couple of things. You got homework. Fill out your character sheets and send them to me, and that includes equipment, armor, weapons, what have you. If you have questions, hit me up. I can make jurisdictions on pluses on weapons and armor and things like that. But try to mimic your equipment that you had. For those of you who are continuing on with characters, try to mimic the equipment that you had and the treasure you had that you had from your previous character. Second, hit me up with questions about character development, anything else like that. What I'd like to do is between now and the next game, I'd like to set up just a random night where we get together and we have a shootout using the Cypher system rules and see how that works. I've got the map already set up. We could do it very easily, but I want to kick the tires on those rules because I have never been in a Cypher system shootout and I want to see how it works.
Maybe we have a flashback to another Colonel Seventide adventure we were on.
Yeah, Tiger Hunt.
With Tiger Hunt. So we'll do that. So let me know when you're available and when's best for that kind of stuff. If you have questions about planning, getting off of Cymbeline, going against a thing, bring questions for things. So Sergei will say that he will reach out to both Wim Yagasaki and Palmer on your behalf and tell them all the things that you've told him, and he will reach out to them. He's like, look, they don't know me. I can't guarantee that they'll respond, but and he'll ask you, can you tell me something that only you guys and him would know so that it legitimizes me in their eyes?
I guess for Palmer, we can say something like Jackie Boy's gonna want us to move on this.
All right.
Right. And wasn't she part of our last ridiculous shootout in the bar? Remember?
You guys saved her life.
Yeah. So what was the name of that ridiculous bar we were at?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
We can either use the name of that bar or that.
I like that, Matt. Yeah. We'll just say something like, they're sorry the date at the bar went so badly.
Yeah.
The date at that
But
bar.
give
Okay.
the name of the bar.
All right. And he writes this stuff. So Sergei writes this stuff
Oh,
down.
I remember what his name. It was Stacy's place.
Stacy's place. Yeah, that's right. Because you guys were on Greenprint, and it's Bill and Stacy. All right. So he'll write that down, and he's like, I will reach out to these people. I cannot guarantee response, but if I receive one, I will bring it to you. In the meantime, I want you to stay here. Do not use your neural lace on the local network, and be cool.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Cool.
All right.
Like Fonzie.
All right. So Eric, at some point, also before I let you guys go officially, Eric, at some point, you and I and Don need to talk about what you guys are doing outside of the safe house, and figure out how that's going to work. And especially, we need to resolve what is apparently some sort of unrequited love that Don has for us.
Oh, great.
Don's gonna love to hear about all this.
Yeah. It's canon now. I don't know what to do. It's just, the DM has said it. It's part of the deal. So, okay. That it? We good?
Thank you.
All right. My pleasure, guys. I'm glad we're getting back into this. I think Cypher System is going to be awesome. I think getting back into Traveler with a rule set that works well is going to be awesome. I don't know if you guys realize this, but we have been playing Traveler for close to 3 years. It's
How long have you been playing A-Team? Because I feel like the A-Team, the current iteration A-Team has been like 5 years. It feels like
it's been a while. It feels longer than it is.
I think Flashcard's character sheet says like
I think it's been
2017 or
5.
something
I
on
think
it.
that's right.
I'd have to hold
5 or
on.
6.
Let me check. Before I let you guys go, I'm gonna check real quick. So
1 full year
A-Team.
just in that damn prison.
Oh yeah, that took a couple of years off everybody's life, didn't it? All right, so I'm gonna go to the
I could
first
taste the
email.
rum Springer though, Les. I'm getting short.
Getting short. You should know that in the interstitial stuff, once we finish this book, I am adding the Rumspringa into that. So, all right, so here we go. We had our first evening of that on February 11th, 2018
Wow.
Nice.
is when we started. When we started 18.
5 years.
It's
And
been, yeah, it'll be 5 years next month. That's crazy.
It's longer than some marriages.
You know, Council of Thieves lasted for 8 years
Jeez.
when
Is
we
that the one
ran
I
that
joined?
one.
Is that when I joined? Oh, I joined the one where you're in the West Crown one. Was that Council of Thieves?
The West Crown one, yeah, you joined later with Sanatopsis, but yeah, that
yeah.
thing went on for 8 years.
Yeah, I had 3 characters. Remember, I had the NPC you gave me that they murdered right away.
Right.
I had
Love that.
I had the rogue who Doug mercilessly murdered.
True.
Right, and then Xanatopsis came along as when they went to the outer planes.
Yep. Sanatopsis is the best, man.
I love that guy.
When you came back into that ship battle at the head of a body ship,
Yeah,
and just
of dead
cannonballs and everything. It was like,
Yeah.
holy crap. Everybody's like, no.
Like, how many hit dice can you control of undead? I'm like 88 hit dice of undead. Oh my god.
That was awesome. But all right, yeah, hit me up with questions. Let me know if you don't have a copy of the Cypher system rules, if you have problems with your character sheet, if you need cheat sheets or anything like that. Any questions, let me know. And then we'll get together sometime soon and do a quick battle check, and then we'll figure some stuff out.
Sounds
That's
great.
Ready.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
guys. This was awesome. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, and
Bye.
we will talk
Nice
soon.
to see you again, Tom.
Nice to see
Good
you,
night.
Tom.
See you guys.
I'm gonna kill the recording. Here we go.